เล่นพบกับหนังเอาไว้
ใครก่อนนะสวัสดีต่อน้อย
คือตรงไหนได้มั้ง
คือไม่ได้เลยปั๊บพูดเที่ยเลยจ้ะ
รักเธอแล้วใจก็มีเสียงเพลงหัวใจคืนเพลงมันเล่นล่องไปอาบุชาขึ้นมาใหม่
คือไม่
ซื้อ
ได้
ทีไม่ได้
หายใจเพลง
ไหนก็ไปไปเลย
ไม่ไปบัง
หมดชนะก็ชนะง่ายๆงง
ชอบเที่ยวกรุงเทพพี่สาวชอบเที่ยวกรุงเทพบอกแล้วกรุงเทพเป็นที่ยึดเหนี่ยวจิตใจ
มีผัวอยู่กรุงเทพเหรอ
ใช่ขอไปกรุงเทพ
เปิดเสียงนะตูน
เปิดแล้ว
อ้าวได้นี่มาแล้วว่ะพื้นหลังใหม่
ไม่ได้ชื่อเติงครับชื่อชิได้ถูกละ
โอ้โหพี่ต่อพื้นหลังเป็นโคตรสวยเลยปัจจุบันเป็นโคตรสดเลยเดี๋ยวไปสระผมสักครู่นะคะ
สระทำไมห้ามสระเดี๋ยวมันหอม
หอมอยู่แล้วแหละต้องหอมอยู่แล้วแหละ
ไม่ต้องสระก็หอมไม่ต้องสระหรอกเปลืองสบู่เปลืองแชมพู
ใจ
อะไรนะกินใจกินไงวะมันคือกินยังไงอะ
ไปแล้วเดี๋ยวมาพี่ต่ออย่ามาแล้วครับพี่สาว
ห้ามอ้วงโอ้ดูเสียงลมเข้าปะ
Everlasting as the moon.
เสียงเบา
Laid bare.
เบาเหรอ
เสียงไหล
เบายังไง
Go on.
เสียงไหลเบา
ไม่เบา
เสียงไหลเบา
แบบหนึ่งนะดังไปก็บ่นเบาไปก็บ่นเสียงไม่อ่ะดังขึ้นยังเปิดสุดเดี๋ยวหูแตกแตกก็บ่นผมอีก
เปิดวิ25เลย
เปิดแล้ว25แล้วนะ ลัวลมมันเข้าอะไม่รู้ลมมันจะเข้าไหมเอ้ยกดผิด
Overruled. My blade. This is where you fall. Laid bare.
โดนปะวะไม่โดนเว้ยแมนพระไม่กิด
To the very Let's get down to business. Overruled. Witness my rise. This.
ดีเลย30 วินะหาโลมากดก่อนทำตัวเป็นเชลอีกแล้วเล่นแต่เควสเนื้อเรื่อง ตกลงไอ้พวกฟ้าตุยกระจอกโอ้ยอ๋อไอ้ฟ้าตุยกระจอก
This is where you fall. Laid bare.
Wind strike. Clouds high. The birds.
Fusion! Let the world come alive! Everybody stand back!
หวังว่ามันจะบัฟได้
Everlasting as the moon.
เพิ่มเลือดเฉยตื้อตื้อตื้อตื้อต่อเนื้อเรื่องต้องเล่นภาษาไทย
Add Astra.
ที่เก็บ
Thank
แปล
you for complete.
รถป่ามันคืออันไหนอันนี้เหรอความจริงที่หายไปหลังฝนไปเลยลุยอุ้ย
The palais is
ขอ
right
โทษ
up
ที่เลย
ahead. Come on.
พอได้กินน้ำอัดลม
ไม่ใช่บอย
อย่าเลยเยอะนะเดี๋ยวคนมาดูย้อนหลัง
Halt! Please
state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters. Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that means that Nervalet's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I
แป๊บ
don't
หนึ่ง
know who you are or
จบ
who
แอ
you
คนี้
might
แล้ว
be related
ปรับ
to.
ให้
Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep, Hyman can tell. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
ไปปรับในไหนวะอันนี้ลองพูดดิ
ที่นี่ค่ะคุณป้า
ดอกเสียงมึงเบาค่ะมันไม่ใช่กูแล้วเสียงตรงไหนมันเบาวะอันนี้เหรอเปิด90แล้วพูดดิ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ดังละเคาะประตูน็อก
Please come in.
เข้ามาเลยว้าวผู้ชายคุณนิวเลต
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem.
ตอบนี่น่าตบมาก
Miss
เลย
Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
ใช่ไหมคะคุณป้า
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy?
ใช่ค่ะเจ๊
Or just express
Kasi
some
may isa-
tendril of regret? No. You
ค่ะ
are
พอ
not
ใจ
trying
แล้ว
to do
ค่ะ
any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words.
เนี่ย
You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
พูดไม่ออก
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
แต่คำว่าขอโทษสินะ
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has
ไอ้ห่า
occurred
นี่
to
ก็
us
หา
before.
เพลง
We've
เสียง
even
ทุก
expanded
คน
the
อยู่เล่น
search
เนาะ
area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
เรื่องที่มนุษย์อาจจะกลายเป็นน้ำได้
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great, let's go then.
Let's go then ไปกันเลย ไปไหนก่อน นี่ ทางประจำไม่ไปทางลัด
Whoa, what a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like
ใหญ่
this?
จริงไปมอน
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
ให้กูไปไหนเนาะ
Maloose, we're back.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Maloose? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
ดูการเบื้องหลังคือคนเดียวกันเหรอ
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that card guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally
เลิกกระ
headed
แทก
towards
ไม้
the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malouse?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live. And the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina di Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
อ๋อ
So he chose to
Ay,
die
ganun
in
pala.
silence so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is
Oh,
that
no,
the
no,
amount of
Hilo.
confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to is that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people.
สำเนียงออสเตร
The
เลีย
first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're, One of the richest guilds around, with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Malus. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
บันทึกคดีของคาร์ไลน์ในคืนฝนตกเมื่อ3 ปีที่แล้ว ผู้เข้าร่วมงานเลี้ยงได้ยินเสียงปืนดังขึ้น2 นัดนอกจากตัวบ้านคืออะไรวะมือผู้ร่วมงานเลี้ยงมาถึงก็เห็นคาร์ไลน์ที่มีอาวุธปืนอยู่ในมือและโจคิวที่ถูกยิงเสียชีวิตจากผลการสืบสวนในปีนั้นเป็นไปไม่ได้ที่จะมีบุคคลอื่นหลบหนีหลังก่อเหตุฆาตกรรมตอนนั้นคาร์ไลน์จึงถูกตัดสินว่าเป็นฆาตกรตัวจริงในคดีนี้มีปืนอยู่ในมือเท่ากับเป็นฆาตกรยังว่าแหละหน้างาน
It is settled then. Please excuse me and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how I was supposed to face the two of you.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my
พูดคนเดียวค่ะ
husband, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. and to all of us.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what he had done.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Cam ให้การของครอบครัว เอ้า มีเรื่องแอบแฝง
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. The ranch should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be all the talk for the next several weeks.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth at each other, not knowing what to say.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill, so he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callis's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead today. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
พยานคนนี้อยู่ในเหตุการณ์โอ้ยาม
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some formal business?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? I was also flabbergasted when I first heard of it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do was get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my Gardamex. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
What could the children be up to? Never mind. Let them do as they please.
เหมือนสืบสวนอะไรทักอย่างเลยครู
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are giving out a bit.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything too, right?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more, see if there are any valuable clues elsewhere.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
Oh, คนจัดงานเลี้ยง ตามหาเบาะแสนักสืบท่านหนึ่ง ช้าบินเอากัน
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Oh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
งานปัญหาก็คือในผู้ต้องสงสัยทั้ง3 คนชื่อแมวใครวะสงสัยไอ้เหี้ยคนจัดงานเหรอคนจัดงานคือคนล่างสุดขออะไรเนี่ยยามไม่น่าจะใช่กูว่าคนจัดงานน่าสงสัยสุด
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. Still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
หรืออาจจะเป็นคนอื่นยามก็ได้
Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex for personal use. But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
สรุปอีฟอร์เลย
Laurent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means when it comes to finances.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to dispatch a whole group so quickly. Who could it be?
Oh my god. นึงนะไม่ต้องสงสัยไม่ใช่เลือกทีละข้อมันต้องมีข้อไหนถูกสักข้อแหละ
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these 3, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the 3, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
Shy.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner, what do you think we should do? We still haven't found any conclusive evidence. Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Oh, อันนี้แล้วกัน
Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Linny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
See you then!
วิเคราะห์ผู้ต้องสงสัยเมื่อนำข้อมูลเกี่ยวกับผลรักษาการที่ได้มาไปรวมกับการตรวจสอบก่อนหน้านี้ตอนนี้สันนิษฐานได้ว่าคนที่สามารถครอบครองหุ่นรักษาการจำนวนมากเป็นการส่วนตัวและทำธุรกิจเกี่ยวกับได้อย่างไร้ร่องรอยนั้นน่าจะมีแค่มาร์เคิลเท่านั้นแยกกันทำงานหมายความว่าไงวะ
Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus,
กูต้องไปสืบคน
we
เดีย
should
ว
also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.
Underwater ไปเลยตรงไหนอะมีถ้ำตรงนี้
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth
นี่คือ
production
เสียง
base.
ใต้น้ำเหรอวะ
Sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
สิ่งที่ไม่ธรรมดาน่าจะอยู่ข้างใน
You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
หัวใจไม่เคยจำ
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is...
อะไรครับเนี่ยบอกเซมใหม่
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières. Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
มีข้ออีกแล้วเหรอ
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance Jacques lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea. Something's not right. Something's not right. Something's...
อันนี้
Something's not... Something's not right.
ไม่ใช่
Something's of clothing. But now, since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin. Something... This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
เฮียสืบสวนจัดก็ดูโคนัน
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
โอ้กำลังมันเลยตัดทำไมวะอ๋อลืมไปกูต้องเล่นตัวกูด้วยนี่หว่าตามหาหลักฐานต่อเอาไปเป็นพรูฟอ้าวมีคนเฝ้า
Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
เดี๋ยวก่อนตามหาหลักฐานขอเก็บของก่อนต้องใช้
มาแล้วค่ะมาแล้วค่ะ
มาช้าไว้1 วินาทีปรับ50 บาท
ปรับ100
โหแบ่งกันคนละครึ่งนะ
ไม่จ่ายค่ะไม่จ่ายหมดเป็นกับค่าน้ำค่ะ
เอ้าจะไปตรงนั้นไงวะเจ๊มันต้องไปไงอ่ะ
ซื้อน้ำมามันเลยมาช้าพี่ต่อ
เจ๊ตรงนี้ทำไงอ่ะ
ดูดิเกมหมาไหมค่ะ
เศรษฐีอยู่แป๊บนึงได้ป่ะ
ไอ้เหี้ย
อย่านะ
ใครทำให้มันติดเกมเศรษฐีวะเนี่ยไอ้เหี้ย
การ์ดใหม่มันจังไรดีชอบ
พี่ต่อออกจากเกมเศรษฐีแป๊บหนึ่งมาเล่นเกมหมากับกูสักครู่ดิ
ทำไมอ่ะ
ไม่ได้อยากเล่นเกมเศรษฐีอยากเล่นเกมหมา
ลดน้ำแน่เลย
ไอ้พาพี่ต่อไม่ติดวะ
มึงเล่นกันอยู่2 คนน่ะมึงถามใครวะ
ไอ้หน้าแมวตัวไหนไม่รู้พากูติดเนี่ย
ไม่พอดีไม่ได้ตั้งโปรไฟล์แมวซะด้วยดิไม่ใช่กูแล้วล่ะ
บ้าบอยอ้วนมันเป็นคนนั้นน่ะตาก็มีปากก็มีจมูกก็มีมันเป็นคน
มันเป็นแมว
ไอ้ปิมเปล่าปิมก็ตั้งรูปแมว
ไม่สีขาวอ่ะขาวดำอ่ะ
ขาวดำเหรอ
ไอ้ส้มไม่เกี่ยว
คนหรือปล่า
ไอ้ส้มไม่เกี่ยว
ไอ้วะบอกไม่ต่อจากเกมเศรษฐีดีดิอยากเล่นเกมROV
มึงก็ไปเล่นกับมันเลยไป
พี่ต่อเดี๋ยวจะไลฟ์สดให้กินให้กินมันมา
คือกูต้องกินยังไงก่อน อะไรอะไรของมัน
ไปขอเกมเจ็ดทีแป๊บนึงจะชาร์จแบตแป๊บ
Still a ways away from where we need to
เดี๋ยวจะไล
go.
ฟ์สดให้กินมันวะเต็มปากเต็มค
ฮัลโหลคนนะไม่ใช่
ชนะมา2 ตาเนี่ย
ไอ้เหี้ยแดกบลูทูธได้ไงอะไรสัตว์
ำมีคนตีน่ะดิ
หุยกล่องเต็มไปหมดเลย ไม่อยากได้
จะไลฟ์สดให้กิน
ล้าง
ยังไงได้บ้าง
ก็ไลฟ์อยู่นะ
Laid bare. Fallen leaves, adorn my lips.
Strike a pose.
เปิดก็ได้
เปิดก็อยากเปิดมีปัญหาอะไรหรอ
มาดิ
ดู
ทำไมหน้าบานจังหยอก
หุยแรงมาก
หยอก
ดูสิค่ะน่ากินมากเลยค่ะ ดูสิ
มึงกล้าได้ยังไงวะ ว่าปุ๋ย
ดูสิ
หน้าบาน มันก็แค่อ้วนเอง
ดูสิ
ไม่ใช่
มึงต่างกับกูเลยอีเป็น
ไม่เอาไม่
ส
เอา
ว
ใช่
ยค่ะดูคน
เออว่ะมันหน้าบานจริงพี่ต่อ
กูอ้วนกูอ้วนค่ะกูอ้วนอย่างพี่ต่อละค่ะแหนถูกใจ
แบ่งความอ้วนมามั่งได้ไหม
เอา
วัน
อิน
นี้
สวย
เอา
แน่
อิ
น
น
ติดกระดูกกันตอนเนี้ย
เอา
หยอก
แต่ยายกูบอกว่ากูอ้วน
ดูแดด
อ้วนอะไร
ต้องทำตัว
วะ
ไงวะเจอแดดเนี้ยไม่เคยแดดหรอวะ แหมสนุกภูมิใจ ชอบใจชอบใจ
กูก็อ้วนนะปุ๋ย ยายก็บอกกูอ้วนขึ้น กินน้ำหวาน
ขอเศรษฐีสักตานะคะชาร์จแบตแป๊บนึง
ก็ได้พามันออกจากเกมเศรษฐีสักทีดีวะ
มึง
หา
อะ
คนมา
สิพ
แบกกัน
ออ
เดี๋ยวเล่นเนี่ยขึ้นมา
เรื่องเยอะด้วยนะประเด็นน่ะ
มึงไม่ต้องเล่นกูเล่นคนเดียวก็ได้
เอาเฮ้ยใจเย็นดิ
โอ้ยเมียงอนแล้วพี่ต่อเมียงอนแล้วง้อเลย
Witness my
มองกูเลย
transfix.
ชาร์จใหม่มาสนุกอะ
ง้อพี่สะพ้ยเดี๋ยวนี้นะ ง้อพี่สะพ้ยหนูเดี๋ยวนี้ เจ๊ ไอ้เหี้ยเราไม่ปฏิเสธแล้วนะประเด็นคุยกันทุกวันเหมือนเป็นแฟนกันอีเหี้ยสองคนนี้งงมากเลยอุ้ยกูกอดทำไมอุ้ยสวัสดีค่ะพี่สะพ้ย
Get back to the opera house and help Navia.
อะไรวะ
อะไรอ่ะเอาการ์ดกูฟาดกูไปอีกแล้ว
รีบรีบมาค่ะ
Aw, it's a bunch of really cute things. Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
เฮียลูกเต่าน่ารักในสัตว์
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? And then they were turned into water. And
จะ
all
เล่น
the
กับมัน
boxes
ไป
of things.
กูกลัวมันเหงาว่ะเล่นกับมันไป
เดี๋ยวขอจบตานี้แป๊บนึงชาร์จแบตเลย
สง
แบต
สาร
ไม่มี
สงสารมันเนี่ย
มันต้องขอจบอ่ะให้มันเล่นออโต้ไม่ได้ไง
ไม่ได้
มันเล่นเองไม่เป็นเหรอมันมีมือไหม
แล้วมันแพ้
สิ่งของผู้สูญหาย
โอ้ยดับเบิลอีกแล้ว
หลักฐานได้หลักฐานแล้ว หาหลักฐานเพิ่มเอา
หิว
ติด
ข้าว
ติด
ก็หิว
ติด
ไม่ได้แดกข้าวเลย
อ๋อกินข้าวที่หลัง
กินสิคะ
เห็นกูเป็นแม่ครัวบ่
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of
ไป
place
สาว
for
ผม
research.
เอ้ยเจนายเล่นไปแล้วอ่ะเล่นด้วย
หน่อยโดนทิ้ง โดนทิ้งหน่
ก็
อย
แชทไปบอกดิเล่นด้วย รอแป๊บนึง
เล่นด้วยเล่นด้วย
The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea.
หีข้าว
Female specimens
แดกแต่
22,
น้ำเบาหวานจะแดกอยู่แล้วเนี่ยซื้อมา3 แก้วด้วยเนี่ย
were dissolved.
พอกูปั่นน้ำปั่นเหรอกูกินน้ำปั่นจนกูบวมแล้วเนี่ย
เอ้าเมื่อเช้ามือไม่ได้กินข้าวเนี่ย
Sorry,
กิน
traveler.
ไปแล้ว
Paimon will try her best.
กิน
แต่กูก็กินน้
ตื่นมาก็แดกเลยอ่ะตื่นมาประมาณตี 5ก็แดก
ำโอ้โหเฮียมึงรีบไปไหนอ่ะ
Terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone.
มึงรีบกินไปไหนอ่ะตี
แล้วก็
ห้าม
านอน
มึงรีบไปไหน
แดกแล้วก็นอนแล้วก็อาบน้ำแล้วก็มานั่งเล่นกับมึงแล้วก็ไปสระผมแล้วก็ไปซื้อน้ำเนี่ยแหละ
อิสัตว์ชีวิตกูอีก
So that's why you did all of these experiments.
อีกแก้วเลยน้ำอะ
ก็อาบน้ำเสร็จใช่ปะแล้วพอมาเล่นเกมกับพี่ต่อตอนเที่ยงก็เพิ่งนึกได้ว่าตัวเองต้องสระผมวันนี้ก็เลยทิ้งไปสระผม คนบ้าเลยอาบน้ำดูสระผม
Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the
คนเรา
serial
ก็ลืมกันหมดแหละ
disappearances
เฮีย
case.
12
You mean Vache is the one who did all
ไม่ต้อง
these
บอกก็ได้ว่าทอยเท่าไหร่ ไม่อยากรู้
experiments?
จับเบ้า
So that's it. Vache was no
ตอนแรก
victim.
ไม่อยากเล่นเกมเจดีแล้วเว้ยการแม่งต้นตีนเดี๋ยวนี้มันติดคิวหายไปป่วงเลยพูดง่ายการดี
Why would
ด
you
อก
want people to resurface from the... In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
กันกูอีเป็ด
โอเคได้หลัก
การ
ฐาน
จะ
มา
ดี
เพิ่
ได้
ม
ก็ต่อมีเครื่องรางดีนะคะแต่เครื่องรางกูไม่ค่อยเด้งเลยอีดอก
แบกเพื่อนมา2 ตา
Let's see what's written here.
เน่กูแบกมึงทุกตากูยังไม่พูดเลย
Callus,
โอ้ยอยากแดกชาเขียว
Navia's
อะ
father.
การมัน
มีเอาไหมอ่ะจะส่งไปให้เต็มตู้เย็นเลย
ไม่ต้องเกรงใจกูไปซื้อเซเว่น
มีเพชร4,500
ไม่กินชาเขียวธรรมดาครับกินมัทฉะเนาะ
And Callus, because of a lack of confidence that Jacques
ลา
himself
เต้
would
อะ
go through with it.
เรื่องมาก
This should prove the existence of the
แต่แล้วก็
ห
แด
รื
ก
อว่า
แดก
ชอบ
ไม่ได้
กินแบบชั้นสูงอะครับ
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has
Oh,
passed on to
Ruby,
certain members
Ruby,
of his
Ruby.
organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us,
ซื้อลูกเต่านี่มันซื้อตรงไหนนะกูลืมไปแล้ว
ซื้อตรงลูกเต่าอะ
act whenever he wants.
ซื้อก็นั่นแหละ
ร้านค้า
ซื้อตรงลูกเต่า
ร้านค้าลูกเต่าไงห่วย
From the picture,
ขนาดกูไม่ได้เล่นด้วยนั้นเนี่ย
I concur. Let's send someone to
กู
kill
มี
him.
ลูกเต่า2 ลูกแล้วจะทำไม
He won't declare
ใน
war
ไอ้นี่
as
กูมี
long
ลู
as
ก
we
ลูกเดียว
don't
วะ
touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the
มี
higher-ups.
เยอะอยู่ลูกเต่าจำไม่ได้ว่ามีกี่อัน
เก็บไปใช้ที่หลังละกัน
They're all just so
ใช้ไอ้แมงกะพรุนหรือจะใช้ซัมเมอร์ดีวะ
รายงานตรวจสอบเกี่ยวกับคาลัส
ขายหี
เบาะแสเกี่ยวกับคดีคาลัสที่พบในชั้นวางหนั
พี่
ง
ต่อ
สื
มัน
อ
ไม่พูดจริงจังเลยอีดอก
ผู้บงการเบื้องหลัง ไม่เชื่อว่า จะครี
วันคืนกับ
ไปอยากไปเล่นตรงนั้นแล้วอ่ะมันสนุกดีอ่ะเอาพวกไปจากตรงนี้ได้ไหมหมดแล้วไม่ใช่หรอ
มีเล่นแชมเปี้ยนลีกด้วยนะเว้ยพี่ต่อ
เหรอ
There's an important
แชมเปี้ยนลีก
over
อะ
here, and it's full of water.
อ้าวมันคือน้ำเหรอ
That means this is where they make all this
คุณนึกว่าน้ำแข็ง
and that special water is the main ingredient. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence.
สระทะเลมึงเอาสักอย่างจะเอาสระหรือทะเลหมดยังวะมีตรงนั้นแล้วตรงนี้อ่ะ
เอามาตายตรงนี้
There's so much synth
ขอบคุณ
here
ค่ะ
and so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea
เจอพนักงานเซเว่นตรงนั้นโคตรหล่อเลย
Mixing in progress
ไปอีกไหม
ready to drink
ไกลแค่ไหนก็ไปอาหารป่าดูเฉย
also got all the synth pretty clearly
อยากกินก๋วยเตี๋ยว
labeled
ไปซื้อก๋วยเตี๋ยวกินดีกว่า
กูไปซื้อข้างในตอนนั้นแหละทำมาส่งของให้ยาย
เชี่ย
ก๋วยเตี๋ยว
น่าจะดีมากเลย2 คนอ่ะ
super obvious
อยากกินก๋วยเตี๋ยวพี่ต่ออยากกินก๋วยเตี๋ยว
กินแล้วค่ะ
ก็กินแล้ว
we've looked at almost
เดี๋ยวตอนเย็นก็กิน
ไม่ได้กินไงค่ะวันนี้ยังไม่ได้กินเลยค่ะ
ก๋วยเตี๋ยวเรือที่มันหวานๆนะกูใส่น้ำปลาลงไปแล้วเหี้ย
yeah we haven't found anything that reveals his true
เหงามากเลย
identity
เป็นโซโล่แรงละ
no wonder
เอ้ยกูเข้าแล้วเนี่ยนึงดิ
wasn't able to find
เมียงอนแล้วเนี่ยอู้
probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time
ลำคาญมันรู้ไหมมึง
that way even if we bring all this back to the opera sure thing Paimon won't admit
กู
defeat to
กด
this
เป็น1
guy
ธงแม่ไลค์มึงเนี่ย
ธงอะไรอ่ะ
เอาไป1 ธงปะ
ตามหาเบาะแสเอ้ายังไม่หมดอีกเหรอโอ้โหเฮียมีไก่ร้องเลย
เขาเรียกว่าขันไม่ได้ร้อง
เรื่องกู
หูแรงคอนมาอีกแล้วตึงอ่ะ
เรื่องหมักตรง
นู้นมันไม่มีตัวเล่นนะ
เรื่อง
ไป
เรื่องหมักนะก็ไม่ต้องเล่นอีดอก
เล่นก็ได้ออก
กลับไปเล่นเกมเสียดีเลย
ได้
check everything carefully
หยอกเล่นไม่ได้แค่ไรไอ้สัตว์
เขาบ
ห
อ
ลั
ก
ง
5
จาก
6
ผ่าน
ครับ
ไปครู่หนึ่ง
nothing at all and Paimon can't even
พี่แล้วพี่ต่อได้ตัวผู้หญิงยังวะยังไม่ได้ใช่ไหมได้แต่ตัวผู้ชาย
ตัวไหนวะ
ไอตัวผู้หญิงไงน่ะ
เฮ้ยมึงร้องเลยตอนเนี้ย
ไอตัวนี้ก็โอเค
พี่ต่อยังไม่ได้ผู้หญิงเนี่ยเลยน่าจะอีกหลายการ์ดอยู่
คิดหรอก
Vinier isn't that Vache's lover's name then you
ไม่
found
ก
her
ดใบ
diary
เป็ดใครไม่กดเนี่ย
ต้นไม้บังค่ะยืนอะไรกันเลย
it's just a normal diary
อ่านไม่ออกอ่ะ
so many a whole page's worth but they're all crossed out was she unhappy with all of them the final name she decided on
บอกว่า
was
ป่าไม่เป็นกูโกรธนะ
Marcel wait but Marcel's pretty old
มันข้างมันแกกด้วย
อ้าวแบนเลตเตอร์มีอะไรเนี่ย
Paimon still hasn't figured it out yet
ดูแม่ง
ไป
ได้หลักฐานเพิ่ม หนังสือที่มีชื่อมัน
ขอบคุณ
จ
ค่ะ
บ รัดตัวแล้ว ดิ้นไม่หลุดแล้ว เจอกู
And whose image do you see,
เป็นตัวเลยดีวะ
Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you
โอ้
do
โห
know
รอย
that
เยี่ยว
name.
เลยแล้วเกลือ
I've merely surprised
Lắm
you
mới
suddenly
đai
say
này.
the name of
Mày.
someone I've never even heard of.
อันนั้นขอบ
I
นะ
was waiting for you to say that.
Navia we're back
เทลได้ป่าวะ
As expected
Mới
of
đai.
my
ใช่
partner.
มาซอย
I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout
เอ
the
อเทล
rules
แม่
of
ง
this
เล่นง่าย
court?
กว่าทอน
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
นี่หลักฐาน
อ๋อลิงเหรอ
อันนี้เลย
นั่นอะไรดีวะพี่ต่อ
บอกเลย
แพนด้าน่าจะสู้ได้อยู่มั้ง
Is that
หุย
you've always
ตัวกู
been
พูดได้ด้ว
ไม่
ย
มันลิงป่าหรือเปล่าวะ
Huh?
we've investigated your lair
ลิง
we
ป่าปะ
know everything after your lover
ยิงไม่หลุดแน่
Vinier
ไอ้สัตว์
solved
ลิงแล้วก็หยานออกเลน
to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new
เอ็ง
identity
ดินไม่หลุดหน้า
all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it.
ไม่
Even
ไม่
the
เห็นนาน
villains in
ไม่
opera
ได้
performances
ไม่ได้
rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense.
เด็กป้าลง
Marcel, do you know where
เด็ก
you
ตู่
went wrong? You fixated
Ko
your
yan,
gaze
naputo.
on the lover that passed away
Wow.
instead of
Galing.
paying attention to the living people around you. So, you
Who
never
that,
noticed how we changed or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
อย่าให้เครื่อง
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
ลิงเนี่ย
Do you think?
แบกหน้าครับแหล่ง
think I wanted to
เรา
do any of
คอนทั้ง
this?
สาม
คุณคิดว่าผมจะทำอย่างนั้นจริงเหรอ
What for?
ฟันอะไรอยู่คอม
Have you ever paid attention to me?
กันล่ะ
หรอ
Ever empathized
ใคร
with
สนใจ
my
ฉัน
pain?
บ้างล่ะ
Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in
น้ำ
front
หมด
of
อีกแล้ว
your
ไอ้เหี้ย
eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were
ทำไมคน
laughing
ร้าย
at
ต้อง
me.
แพร่ม
They
อะไรเย
said
อะแยะ
there's
วะ
no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignere's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know,
ไม่ได้กรอกน้ำ
don't
เลยนี่
you?
หว่า
Ha! Well,
น้ำกินได้เหรอ
too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever.
ใช่ใช่ใช่
You only have yourselves to blame.
เฮียกูเห็นน้ำห้องน้ำมันก็
Ornate opera house in pursuit
Oh,
of
good
your
call.
so-called justice. Your beloved
อย่า
drama.
อาบูนาจี
Turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Vignere is dead. We promised each other that we would
น้ำประปาเลยนะ
always be together.
แต่แถวบ้านที่สีเกตมันใช้ไอ้เนี่ยบาดาล
I will follow. But I'm not from this
บาดาลก็ใช้
blasted place. So
ถ้า
I
ประปา
can't
ไม่
be
ไหล
dissolved. No matter
แต่บา
what
ดาล
I
มัน
do.
ไหลช้ามากเลย
โอ้โหปลาที่เนี่ยเยอะอ้วนยังเร็วกว่านี้เลยอะ
I can't dissolve.
ทำไมมันช้า มัน
Can't
ช้าเพราะอะไร
dissolve. Can't dissolve.
แต่ปลาเนี่ยมันแทบไม่ไหลเลย
มันไม่ได้ผ่านปั๊มน้ำ
I
นี่
can't go.
ช้า
I can't
ช้า
follow.
มากเลยนะเว้ย
If I can't go
เหมือน
where
ร้าน
she
ย
is,
าย
what
ทูน
choice
นะ
do
ไม่
I have
กว่า
but
จะ
to
ไหล
try to bring her back?
โอ้
I did
เฮีย
all
เข้ามา
that.
ร้านแบบ
And
เฮีย
in
เลย
the end, that accursed callous still
Oi.
got the better of me. I spent my
เอาอะไร
entire
เนี่ย
life
โหลิงแบบ
living
เป็
on
นคิวเลย
pins and needles, only to get
ไอ้
stabbed
ตา
by
ยวะ
his idiot daughter at the very end.
ใช้คำว่า idiot ด้วยไม่ใช่คำว่า stupid
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain
ใช้
him.
โคตร
อะไร
สุภา
วั
พ
ดมิดวอลคืออะไรของมัน
Don't anybody come near
โอ๊ย
me.
โอ๊ย
Still need to save Vignere. I promise. We made up.
อย่าร้องอย่างนั้นนะ
Vignere.
ฉันไลฟ์อยู่เดี๋ยวบินฮัลโหล
Please,
อีชื่อไทยเสีย
ตายกูว่านักความสุข
ญาติอาสรี
All I want to do is fulfill
อะไร
our
วะ
promise.
วัดมีอะไร
At
วะ
this point,
วั
the
ด
verdict of this
มิด
trial
วอล
is
คืออะไร
clear.
อะไร
With
ของ
Mr.
มัน
Marcel's
เฮ้ยไป
conviction,
แล้ว
the charges against Mr.
อะไร
Tartaglia
นะ
อะไรของมัน
no longer have any
วัดมิด
basis.
วอลคืออะไรวะ
Fine by me.
มิดวอ
I
ล
was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please
เลน
submit
กลาง
all
เหรอ
the evidence you
ว่า
have
ผ่า
collected
พ่อ
to the
อีก
guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the
มัน
serial disappearances
มันน่า
case.
ถามว่าเลนกลางคือตรงไหนเปล่า
The
แต่
man
มันพิมพ์
now
ภาษา
known
ไทย
as
นะ
Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover
I don't
Vignere.
know
During an underwater expedition,
I don't know เหมือนกันอะไรของ
Vignere
มัน
accidentally
วาร์ป
came into
บริษัท
contact with water
วาร์ป
from
เหร
the
อไอ้เหี้ย
primordial sea and was dissolved in front of
ออกมา
Vache
ซ่า
as a
so
result.
idiot
Vache learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson.
เฮ้ยขี้รอยเยี่ยวมา
During the course of his research,
ระวังนะ
Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vache decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vache's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
พี่น้องไม่เคลียร์คีย์ให้กูล่ะอีสัตว์วิ่งมาตั้งหนาไม่เคลียร์คีย์ให้กูป่วยลงไปเลนกลางกับโป่งรู้ว่าคีย์เข้าป้อมจะเห็นเลยนางโง่สัตว์ตาย
อีนกให้นะมีน้ำใจจังเลย
อะไรอ่ะ
กูว่าแล้วหยานมันเข้ามาลำกูอีกกูสู้หยานไม่ได้พี่ต้อ
Mr. Vache is
โอ้โหมาช้าจังวะล่า
Guards, take Vache
ไม่ตายหรอ
Good. It's what he deserves.
ไอ้เหี้ยกูโดนกดทุกเลนเลยเนี่ยทั้งหยานทั้งลิงเลย
ปิดคดีจ้า
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
เฮียนี่มูนวอล์กเก่งจิบหายเลยคุยเลนกลางอ่ะรีบตีได้เลยอีสัตว์
He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting what he deserves.
ไม่ตายมึงเป็นไง
เรื่องดีนะเพราะว่าแต่อีดอก
Demoiselle, you were absolutely
ไปเลย
brilliant.
กลับไปเลย
Day our late boss had always hoped
ขอบ
for
คุณ
has
ที่ตีนก
finally
ให้นะคะ
come.
น้ำใจจังเลย
You can rest easy now, knowing justice has been served.
จุ๊บมาให้มันด้วย
Yeah. It's finally over.
มึงคอสแม่งไม่แย่แสกูเลยอ่ะ
And my partner. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula still doing well with me at the helm.
Well, now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big old happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to. So, if you'll excuse me...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
โอ้ให้กูบ้างไอ้เฮียไม่มีตังค์แล้ว
What now?
มีสตีฟอร์มให้กูด้วยสัตว์
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the
กู
charges.
ว่ากลางโดนกูว่ายังไงกลางก็โดนไม่แน่แต่เป็นกูโดนก็ได้เนี่ย
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale,
42
Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
เอ้า
กูว่าแล้ว
That's not funny. Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent?
ช่วยกูด้วย
What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before.
ไปแล้ว
The
จ้า
Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean,
แตกแล้วจ้า
have
อ
you
อฟ
ever
เลน
heard
แต
of
กแล้ว
an
จ้า
innocent
อ
Fatui
อฟเลนสู้ลิง
harbinger?
ไม่ได้จ้า
Do you think the
กลับบ้านเป็น
Oratrice
ไม่
might
ไหว
have
แล้ว
just convicted him
มี
on
ละครมา
general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case?
กลาง
No
แต
matter
ก
what
นะ
else
คะ
he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case,
โอ้ย
right?
ไอ้เหี้ยอะไรก็ไม่รู้
The
ปวด
judgment
กระ
of
บาล
the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal is, by law, the final verdict of the court.
ป่า
We
มึง
must
เคยคิดจะ
accept
เติมบ้างไหม
the guilty
ดูทรงแล้ว
verdict.
นะ
Guards, please take the suspect into custody per
ไปเลย
court
ไปเลยจ้ะ
protocol.
เย้วัคซีน
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke.
เอ้ามึงไม่มาต่ออะไร
You've got
ศาสตร์
your
นาคอ
rules.
ดิโง่
Well, I've got mine too.
โอ้ยเหี้ยนิดเดียวเองเลยเว้ย
ถอยกูบอกว่าถอยไม่ฟังถอยสิคะเอาดิได้หมดนั่นน่ะ
He's activating his spell legacy!
พี่นิวโดดหัวแน่เลย
I am sorry. If
Oh.
you have been wronged, we will find the
โอ้
truth.
อะไรวะเนี่ยงู
But the rules of the court must be upheld.
กลับดีกว่าเดี๋ยวลิงมาคุย
หวังนะลิงปอมแหงนะอีสัตว์เอ้ย
ได้แค่ป้อมเดียวเนี่ย
อืม
Monsieur Novelette, what's going
มาดิพี่ต่อ
Shouldn't they have
โอ้
been cleared
ทีเดียวเองวันนั้น63
Apologies.
ขอทีเดียวก็
ก็ที
แต
เดี
ก
ยว
This is
ระวัง
also
ดิ
the first time I've encountered such a situation.
มาที่อีสัตว์
However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the
เพื่อน
Oratrice's
มา
judgment is the
มันมา
final
เยอะอะ
verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure.
ไม่มีใคร
As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
วิ่งไป
ที
ตี
เดียว
ลิ
อ่ะ
ง
พี่
แล้
ต่อ
ว
ทีเดียวทีเดียว
Why are you looking at me?
ระวังโดนลิงนะ
I had nothing to
ไม่
do
โดน
with
ลิง
it.
โดนยานั่นแหละไปนะ
I don't know what happened there either.
ลิงไปปิดลิงไปปิ
Hey,
ด
stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
โอ้แครี่มันดีเหลือเกินว่ะโอ้
ลิงมา
My dearest citizens, did you really
ไปละ
think
จ้า
we'd
ถอย
allow
พี่
an
ต่อ
incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of
Hey,
some
yeah,
sort
you know
of
it.
random mishap? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had
ลุง
no
น่าจะได้อ
idea
ยู่
what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement,
เอา
was
แหว
a
นมา
part
เปิด
of
ลิง
an
วะ
elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and
ใครโดนเนี่ย
excitement. And
นาคอสโดน
of course, for
เดี๋ยว
every
ยืดได้ปะยืดได้ปะ
there is a script. Everything has
เอ้อ
unfolded
ไม่ได้ว่ะ
exactly as I expected
เดี๋ยว
from
มั
the
นไปไหน
เรียก
กัน
มิ
เนี่
ด
ย
แม่งมาอีสัตว์
as the embodiment of the very
ไปลิงอยู่
concept of justice. The
ได้แค่นี้แหละ
Oratrice
เพื่อน
shall never render an
มิด
arbitrary
แม่งมาเหี้ย
judgment.
โดนลิ
ต่
ง
อ
ไล่อยู่
ดอก
If you thought
บ้านนี้
child
เดียวเอ
had
ง
nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of innocence. Everything
Mippy?
he's done, not to mention
Dudak
the
ni?
danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable.
น่าจะอยู่กลาง
All shall be revealed in time.
น่าจะมันตีดัก
You
คุณผู้ช
will
ม
come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the oratrice's verdict.
พ่อมึงเหอะถอยดิ
โอ๊ยถอยไม่ได้
ถอยได้ปะ
Now,
ไม่ได้
having said that, although I hate to leave things
โดนใคร
hanging
ยิ
in
ง
suspense,
เราเดียวอี
it
ก
is
สัตว์
now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make
มัน
her
ดูอินแม่ง
escape
รู้ดี
after
ชิบหาย
all,
เลย
did
อี
she?
ดอเฮีย
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that
ถ้า
performance
เข้า
to
ไปอย่าง
save
นี้พี่
face.
เอาไงเนี่ย
As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea. However, please be assured that I will continue to
What the
investigate this
hell
case
พี่
in a
พี่
personal
เข้าไปอย่างนี้พี่ก็
capacity.
ตายดิครับ
Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
ถือออกไอ้นี่มา
เฮียอะไรก็เรื่องของมึงเถอะดอกระวังล้อเลี้ยวนะบอกแค่นั้นแหละระวังล้อเลี้ยวนะ
เอ้ากูออกประตูนู้นมันโผล่ประตู
Hey,
นี้
what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
มันลำไปแล้วนี่
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
อือหือ
โอ้ยเฮียช่วยด้วย
ถอยมาพี่ต่อ
ถอยไม่ได้ไม่มี
ไม่
ส
ได้
เตอร์
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add another charge to the list.
No, wait!
ไม่ได้ยืน
I just
ยิง
want
เล
to
ยไอ้
ask
เฮี
the
ย
traveler something. I'm not looking to run
ยืน
away.
ไม่ได้
Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
ดูดิอย่างเยอะเลย
Thank you.
อืม
I was being
เข้าไปอ
led
ย่างนี้มึ
away
งก็
when
พา
I
กันตายให้มัน
finally
หมดอะ
realized something.
จบ
Where did you first hear the name
ๆเห็นนาคอส
Vache?
เข้าแล้วกูท้อเลยว่ะ
I erased all records of that name.
ทำไมอ่ะ
So,
เล่นไม่เป็น
Are you still trying to
เอ
prove
อ
your innocence?
เฮ้อ
Give it up. You've already
เข้า
been
จังหวะที่ส้
convicted.
นตีนมาก
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards. I don't
เอาเด็ก
care.
ตามายืนไม่ได้มีประโยช
Give
น์
an
เหี้ย
inch
อะไร
and
เล
you
ย
want to
ดอ
take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible things?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him.
Oh.
You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor เล่นให้จบไปเลยไหม
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon Everyone could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well? Oh, in that case...
Vache!
ใครมาขอเข้าโลกตอนนี้ไม่ว่างครับผมเล่น
So you heard it too!
Vignere, it's me, Vache.
Vache?
เล่นไม่ออกเลยเฮีย
I'm here. Where are you, Vignere? I'm coming for you. I'm finally here for you.
Hey, wait! Be careful! Hey, wait!
Vignere, is that you? It's me, Vache. Vignere.
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me.
กดไม่ทันเลยวะ
I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vignere, you are my everything.
จะตก
I
ฟ้า
really
จะ
don't
ร้อง
know how I could live without you.
เอลสูงไหมอ่ะ
But Vache,
แบนเป้งไปเลย
if you ask me,
ไอ้เกียมันแบนทำไมอ่ะไอ้ซันการเนี่ย
without you.
What are you
แบนเฮีย
saying?
อะไรเตอร์ไอ้
If
สัส
not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day.
แบนเพนแบนมูลาดแบนเคนอะไรอย่างงี้วะ
you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed
ไม่
in
ขอไปเลย
the
เฮียแครี่ควายรอ
If
เฮี
not
ยไอ้
for
สัส
you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old
ควาย
and died alone.
บอกเลยแบนเอล
With
สูเอล
nothing
สู
but
เอลสูไหม
tears on her cheeks.
แบนเฮียอะไรไอ้ซันการควาย
It's all because of your selfishness, Vache. It's all because of you.
อย่าลีลาต้องให้ได้ไอ้สัส
You. Wait, you are not Vignere. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vignere. I am
ผมฟูมากเลย อยากให้ดูมากเลยพี่ต่อ
ต้องรอดวะ
every
ผม
woman
ยิ่ง
who
อีก
died
อ่ะ
by
มีหน้า
your hand. As our bodies dissolved, our
ยัง
consciousness
ไม่ได้ไป
is
ยืดผม
blown
เลย
back
เก็บ
to
ตั
the
งค์ยืดผมก่อน
primordial sea.
เจริญ
Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the
ชาติไหน
primordial
ฟาร์ม
sea,
เสร็จนะอีสัตว์
and we were no longer individuals,
สลับกันป่ะ
but we became one. Just as
พ่อมึง
streams
ไงไอ้
of
สัส
water come together in the
ตัว
sea.
แม่งก็ช้าเลยไอ้เฮียมาฟาร์มอีก
I'm Cressy.
เกิดก็
I'm
ช้า
Melanie. I'm Azine.
เพต้า
The only one I
กู
am
ก็ไม่คิดว่า
not
กูจะเจอนะ ตั้งแต่กูเจออเลสเตอร์ไป
Why? But then, where is Vignere?
กูก็ไม่คิดว่ากูจะเจอแล้วนะ
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vigniere's beloved. From the moment your first
เกม
victim
นี้เล่น
died
ยังไงก็ได้
and her
ตามใจกูละ
consciousness
กัน
merged with Vigniere's,
ถ้ามึง
she
จะ
has
เล่นอ
had
ย่างนี้กัน
nothing but
อีดอก
pure hatred.
กูงี้กูหยิบแครี่มาออฟเล่นด้วย
กูน่าจะหยิบอีลินมากลาง
No. Vignere. She can't hate me. Let me see her. Please. Have mercy.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, That came from the real
โอ้
Vignette.
มันแย่งคีบกูไปหมดเลย
She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final
แม่งมาลุมกูเลยไอ้เหี้ย
of pity for you. She said that
นี่จะ
because
ลุ
she
มมี
knew
ค่ะควา
that
ย
if you did come here, we will show no
คุย
mercy
นี่
to
ก็แรง
you.
จังไว้สัตว์ไม่มีเหี้ยอะไรนึงแรงหายเลยคุย
Vache! Vache!
ไม่มีสัตว์ตัวส้นตีน
ไปตายซะกราวเชี่ยไม่ใช่คำว่า fuck you ด้วย ใช้สิเป็ดกราวเจ็บจนเช้า
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
ฮัลโหลไปเลี้ยงแครี่ด้วยค่ะ
Well
ยี
met,
สัตว์
partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon's already started to miss you.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who wouldn't treasure having a partner like me?
เฮ้ยเชี่ย
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy with since the
มาดิไอ้
trial?
สัตว์
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts in Sen. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone knew that even if we held one back then, no one was going to come. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
เหี้ยฝนตกจะแดดออกมันงง
That's what we like to hear.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That blasted stubborn fool. Oh, by the
เป็น
way,
เหี้ยเลยต้อง
I
หมั่น
ran
เป็น
into
กลาง
Charlotte
โด
just
นลุม
after
อีก
I
แล้ว
left
เนี่ย
the
พี่ต่อ
memorial service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me go.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
ตาย
เหี้ยไอ้
You
สัตว์
Charlotte?
ตาย
Journalist for the Steamboat?
โอ้ยไม่เอาให้มันตายไว้สัตว์
Way back when I first became the president of the Spina di
นั่น
Rosula,
แหละ
she
ขอบ
was
คุณ
all over me. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I
เอามัน
believe
ไป
the
อีกตัวหนึงดิ
story was called The True Heart of Darkness, Secret Tales of the Yellow Rose. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
เอ้ย
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case,
ไอ้
so
เหี้ยป้อม
now
จะแตก
her wishes
ฟัง
finally
แบบ
come true too.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the
ตัว
critical
ดีๆ
evidence,
ไม่ฟาร์มไม่
that
ฟา
you
ร์ม
both
จ้ะ
sound
ชอบ
really
ความ
cool.
ลำบาก
ชอบคอนเทนต์ดีกว่า
Another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills
เจ
with the
ต้า
pen
ป่า
for sure.
Oh, and in
ของ
other
ป่าช้านั่น
news,
น่ะ
I also took Clarand out for a meal.
อ่ะกูเจอเลตเตอร์ป่าแล้วกูยังมาเจอเพต้าป่ากู
เอา
ท้อเลย
คี
เนี่ย
ล่ากับซิลไม่ดีก
While
ว่าเหร
you
อ
were investigating Vache's
ป่าเลยกว่า
headquarters,
ก็มันหยิบเพต้า
Clarand
มา
gave
ป่า
testimony
เนี่ย
on my
แม่
father's
ง
behalf.
เพตาป่ากว่าจะป่าเสร็จ
It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the
ถ้าเรีย
tide.
น่าได้อยู่
I
แต่เนี่ย
wanted
ไม่
to
ได้
thank
ว่ะ
her.
อันนี้มัน
I mean,
ช้าไป
there's also no point in being
ใช้
awkward
ส้
all
น
the
ตีน
time.
คิดหรือเปล่ายังไม่
So
รู้เลย
we
เนี่ย
took the chance
เผล
to
อๆมันมีสมอง
reconcile with
คิด
each
เปล่า
other.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarend
ควาย
wasn't
สมอง
actually
การ
a
เก
bad
ษตรอีดอก
person. It's always good to have more
ส
friends.
มองการเกษตร
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh,
ตายไม่แครี่
actually,
เรียบร้อยมึง
there's still one last thing I need to do.
โอ้ยเอาอีคิดนี่เคียนี่ไปสักทีนึงดิอีดอกนาตาย่าเนี่ย
I
สัก
should
ทีนึง
pay
ดิ
a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened,
พ่อมึงเล
as
ง
well as
หา
how
อะไร
it
ส
all
กิล
ended.
เลยคุย
And on
ไป
top of
ไปส
that,
ลับเลยกูเป็นด้านล่าง
just
ต่อ
how much people still look up to him to this
Bye.
day. That includes me, too.
Miss Navia.
ที่เหยียดูเลือดไม่พักเลยสัตว์
Indeed.
We want to go too. We also
โอ้
think
ไม่ได้
Callis
วะ
is a really admirable person.
โอ้ยมึงไม่ไปบนไว้อีเหี้ย
I'd
เอ้
like
ย
you two to share the moment with me. After all,
โอ้ย
without
ป้อม
you,
หูแตก
there
โอ้
might
ย
not
กู
have
จะโด
been
น
such
ทุ
a
บหัวแบะ
positive
แล้
ending.
ว
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can reach Poisson before dark.
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now.
โอ้โหเอาของบ้างก็ได้เพื่อนออบเจกต์อะมึงเอาบ้างไหม
This is where my
รว
father's
มกลุ่ม
grave is.
เหี้ยอะไรเลยสัตว์
To be perfectly honest, even I haven't been back here for a long time.
Huh?
มึงตีป้อม
There's
ก่อนไหม
someone
อี
here
สัตว์
already.
ตี
Wait,
ป้อมแดงเสือกไม่ตีงง
figure. It can't be. Isn't
ร้าน
that
กูหา
Nurulette?
เหี้ยอะไรเลยควาย
Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
Oh my god กูตายงัดยืนมองกูนะ
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette.
เพื่อนกูกัดตีเอาของบ้างไหม
Why
มัง
did
ก
you
รนี่
come
ได้
to
สักตัวอย่าง
Poisson?
เนี่ย
ได้
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway?
แคลรี่กูโดนลุมตาย
There
แน่
was once
กู
a
ดูทร
time
ง
when
แล้ว
I
เนี่ย
didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, consider certain things to be more important than their own lives. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel.
อ๋อมีซิลด้วยเหรอทำไมซิลไม่
That
ฟัง
a truly innocent man would never
ซิว
throw
อะไร
away
ซิว
his
ฝั่ง
life
เขาอะดิ
like that.
เออ
That there was nothing,
อ๋อ
should have been nothing more important than one's
Bye.
own
ถาม
continued
พี่
survival.
ทำไมต้องขึ้นเสียง
Mr.
ใส่
Callis proved me utterly and decisively wrong.
ไอ้พวกนี้นี่
If
เดี๋ยวให้
not
มัน
for
ตาย
his
วะ
ก็เล่น
sacrifice,
เหรอ
the serial disappearances case would have
ซิว
remained
อยู่ กู
unsolved
ก็
to
บอกอ
this
ยู่ว่า
day.
ซิว
Mr. Callis
ตี
made
มั
the
งกรให้
choice
เขา
he
ได้
did
ฟ
for
รี
his
อีก
daughter, for his
เยี่ยมไป
associates,
เลย
and for many people
What the
completely
fuck
unrelated
มึ
to
ง
him.
ไม่มีพันนิดเหรอ
And in the end, from a certain
ก
perspective,
ดไม่เป็น
one
เหี้ย
could
กู
say
ดาว
they
อยู่ไอ้
did it
สัตว์
all for the sake
แล้ว
of
มึงจะตีทำ
justice.
หามหอกมึง
A justice that's higher than life
แต่ละตัว
itself.
ไอ้เหี้ย
So you asked me why I came here.
กู
I
อยากจะ
just
กรี๊ด
wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callis in
กูอยากจะกรี๊ดออกมาแล้วเป็นคำว่าควาย
I
อ่ะ
should have noticed all of this
ใส่
much
หน้า
sooner.
แม่งดังๆเลยสัตว์
เลย
This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted
มึง
me
ก็
for
ตีให้เขา
days.
ได้คองฟรี
That
โง่
high and mighty chair in the opera epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things.
กูโดนฟอร์เรน
Spina
ลำ
di
กูดิ
Rosula,
ให้
thank
ลำกู
you
เลย
so
สัตว์
much for
เป็น
your
เฮีย
hard
ไม่
work
ล
and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh?
ำพี่เขาบอกให้เล่น
That
เกม
reminds me
อย่า
of
ใจ
Silver.
ร้อน
One of my guys.
ใช่
Sorry
ต่อลง
about
หัว
that.
มัน
Self-expression
Chip
is
hạ
not
พี่ต่อ
one of my strong
แข่งให้
suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
ไม่แค่นี้นะ
Ah, so Navia and
มีอันตีมา
Nurulette
อัน
seem
ตี
to
มา
have made their peace as
มาแล้วอันตีกู
well.
เนี่ยมาเมื่อ
Let's
กี้
not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done.
วันนี้โดนเขากัด
โดนอะไรนะ
ตรงตีนเนี่ยกูอยากรู้มึงไปโดนใครกัดมา แล้วมึงไม่อยู่บ้านแผลมึงก็ไม่ได้ท
Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before.
ำสันดาน
Did Paimon do anything rude there?
เฮ้ยเราศูนย์เราก็อย่าพลาดนี่ปะ
Paimon doesn't know what she would do if she can't
อ้าว
fly.
ก กวนตีนไปวับใส่เขาอีสัตว์
Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad.
ปล่อยแม่งโดนกระทืบตายหาไป
Is still standing around there.
กวนตีนไปวับใส่เขาอีดอก
Alone
เดี๋ยว
like
สูง
this,
อยู่
so
แล้ว
why don't we go talk
ล
to
ง
him
นี่
for
สิ
a
ต่อ
bit?
สโล
If we can't talk to Lady Farina, we
ใช้
can
ไปหมดแล้วใช่ไหม
talk
มึง
to him, right?
มาแล้วกูแล้ว
ใช้ไปหมดแล้วใช่ไหมอีสัตว์เจอกู
ไวโอโดนฟอร์เรนถอยมาดิเพื่อน
ใครมาวะ
มันอยู่มึงจะไปทำไมล่ะ
ใครมา แสดงตัวเดี๋ยวนี้
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
อ๋อ
แม่
น่าเชียวแหละ
Navia on the streets today,
แม่
so
วัน
we
ด้า
just
มัน
followed her here.
ไม่ใช่เดี๋ยวไอ้เหี้ยแม่งเอ้ยแล้วเรื่อง
Then is there something that I can help you with?
หมอนนี่ละกูใช่
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this since you're usually super busy.
หลอน
So
นะกู
we figured we could try to
หนัก
ask you
เรีย
a
บร้อย
few questions.
ระวังเรียบร้อยเป็นไงล่ะมึง
Please feel free.
ไอ้เหี้ยขอ
Though
ง
outsiders,
คอ
you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor.
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water
กำลั
from
ง
the
เคลียร์เนื้อเรื่องอยู่
primordial
นะคะ
sea. But
หลังจากที่ดองมายาวนาน
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate.
กลาย
I
เป็
can
น
only
ผี
surmise that
หลับ
Vacher
เลย
and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive
มาสาด
research.
ใส่กูเดี๋ยวกูจะโดดใส่หน้า
There
มึงมา
used to be a special sea on the surface of this
มีดอด
planet.
ป่ะ
มี
The
มี
nature of its
อุ๊ยข้า
seawater
เห็น
was
อะไรบาง
rather
อย่าง
different from that of the
ดาว
sea we know today.
มี
Most
โด
of
ดอยู่แต่พ
Tivat's
วกมึง
life
งับ
forms
กลับ
were
คืออะไร
first
ไม่
born
ให้
in
สัญญาณ
that
กูก่อน
special
ว่าถอย
sea.
อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
You could say it nurtured much of the life
กู
on
จะโด
this
ดแต่แม่ง
planet.
ไอ้เหี้ยมันมาสอนไง
so it really was where everything began.
มีลิกเตอร์ท่า
It
ไปแล้ว
makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant
โดน
from
แน่
a
มึง
truly
ไวโอ
ancient age.
ช่วยมาดิ
So that's how it is.
มันมาคนเดียวโดดเดี่ยวไม่มี
You
ใคร
know
ช่วยมัน
everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if
เอา
that's the case, then why would people
ขาดจะลมน้ำซุปไอ้เหี้ยนี่ก็วาบเหมือนกันไอ้สัตว์
dissolve in that kind of
ปล่อย
water?
มันตาย
Indeed, why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and
เพื่อนมึง
nurture
แปลกทั้งนั้น
life,
เลยอีควาย
suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There mmust still be some unknown secrets
อยาก
around
เล่
the
นลำบาก
people
อะ
of
ปล่อย
this
ป้อมแตก
land.
หมด3 ทางเลยไหม
Is there anything else
อยาก
you'd
เล่น
like to
ลำบาก
ask me about?
มันจะลำบากเกินไปป่ะ มันสะอาดแล้วพี่ต่อ
That the sea levels
ไม่รู้
will
จะชนะไหม
rise
เนี่ยไอ้เหี้ย
and
ตาเนี่ย
everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right.
ไอ้นี่มัน
It
ตาย
was
นะ
Lenny that
ลา
told
ผู้
us
อี
back
เหี้ย
then.
กูบอกแล้วมันรัดทุกตัว
That about covers all the main points.
โอ้มึงสัตว์
Yes,
เอ้ย
up to the present, I think we reached
ไอ้
a point
เหี้ย
where
อยู่
we
กัน
have
ตั้ง
no
เยอะ
choice but to
เล็ง
confront
โดน
this
กูอยู่คน
prophecy
เดียว
directly.
สัตว์
Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left
ซิว
to the
ซิว
world
พี่ต่อ
before
ซิว
she
เออ
passed
กูเห็น
away.
นะ
A
ดันไปเลย
prophecy of the
Done
former
deal.
Hydro Archon?
ไม่ต้องวาร์ป
ได้
ไม่ต้อง
This
วาร์
is
ป
the first time that we've ever heard of it.
เออไม่ต้องวาร์ป
Two parts of the prophecy have already proven
เฮ้ย
correct.
มัน
The
ไปได้ไง
rising
วะ
sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved.
ว่าเราชอบความ
We
แปล
should
ก
be
ใหม่
more
วะ
vigilant and stay on the watch for further
ขนาด
signs.
ทีมไม่มีป่ายัง
Speaking
ช
of
นะ
the
เลย
prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously.
พี่โยนเสือกทำเมื่อกี้กันไอ้
We've
สัต
been
ว์
collecting information and intelligence from
เล่น
across
ดีๆเสือก
Tibet for this
อะไรก็ไม่รู้
purpose.
แพ้
If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum
ไอ้เหี้ย
left
แล้ว
to
กูก็วน
Farina
3
by
ดาว
her
4 ดาวยังไม่
predecessor.
ไปไหนเลยเนี่ย
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
4-32 ว่ะ
My
พี่ต่อสกอร์แม่ง
apologies.
ดีจัดอะ
My investigation has still not reached its
ไอ้ที่
conclusion.
46วะ
However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
อ้าว เป็นความลับเหรอบอกไม่ได้
But you also said you thought he was innocent.
เป็นความลับที่
For many
อยู่ข้าง
years,
ใน
I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits. such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this for a long time.
เร็วดีไอ้เหี้ยมันกด
So
ที
it really told us that he heard a human voice from the
นั่น
room
ดิ
where
แต่
the
มันไม่กดวะ
Oratrice's
เสีย
core
เลิก
is
กูหมดแล้วเนี่ย
stored.
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my
นี่
conjecture.
เป็นไง
I
ความ
will
ไว
add that to
กู
the
ไว
list of
ค่ะ
items to investigate. In any case, I am
หน้า
inclined to
ด้าน
believe
กู
that
ด่า
the
นะไอ้
Oratrice
สัตว์
does have a methodology all its own. We just do not have enough information. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on.
เด็ดไปหา
She
นี่เป็นเหมือนใน
managed
อ้วน
to
เลย
bluff
ไอ้
her
อ้วน
way
เล็บแต
through,
ก
though. Their time-tested twin tricks of bravado and
โง่
drama.
โดด
While
ลง
we
หลัง
do
คา
intend to get to the bottom of this,
เอ้าก็เล็บ
for
แตก
now,
เล็บ
we
จะหลุด
regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of
น้อง
Meripede.
ไม่รู้
If
มัน
we
ไม่ใช่
did
ไม่รู้
incorrectly
มัน
convict
โง่
him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate
มัน
him
เปิด
to
ไม
the
ค์คุย
fullest
ไงวะ
extent allowed by the law.
If you ask
เฮ้ย
Paimon,
เสียงตะลึงที่ไหนคะเมื่อ
เดี๋ยวมึง
กี้
วะฮัลโหลฮัลโหลอะ
no-holds-barred fight
คุยกับมันดิ
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
คุยกับมันดิพี่ต่อ
ไม่เป็นครับพี่
Your sibling.
ก็ผมบอกอยู่ผม
Another
ฟังไม่เป็น
blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anyone who matches that
ฟังกูไม่
description.
ไหนเหี้ย
If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws
เปิด
to
ไม
the
ค์คุยกับมัน
letter
ปะล่ะ
and had
ฟัง
no
ไม่เป็น
reason to appear on the stage of the opera Epicles. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
พี่กูแม่งร้อนจัดเลยอะ
Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much
ก็
enjoyed
บอกอยู่ว่ากู
conversing
ฟัง
with
ไม่
you.
เป็นไอ้แม่เหี้ย
It will soon be time for me to leave this
ไม่ฟัง
blissful
กูได้ยินแต่ว่าฮัลโหล
tranquility
ฮัลโหล
behind
อะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งอะ
and return to Palais
ฮัลโหลอะไร
Memorial.
วะ
ฟาร์มหน่อยครับพี่
really are super
กู
busy
บอกกูฟัง
most
ไม่เป็น
never
กู
let
เปิดไมค์แล้วนะ บอกมันนะ
Thought you only came here
แม่ง
to
ไม่
pay
ฟัง
your respects today because you had
กู
the
ได้ยิน
day
ว่า
off.
ฮัลโหลฮัลโหลอะ
Crime and villainy do not have
ไม่
the
ได้บอกให้
day
มึงเปิดไมค์
off,
คุยกับมันหน่อย
and so justice must work around the clock
มัน
as
ก็เปิด
well.
แล้วไง
This is merely the nature
Hello.
of justice's work.
ฮัลโหล Hello.
All right, you've got a
ฮ่า
point.
ฮ่าอะไรของมันวะ
Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
อ้าวเรียกว่ามันกับเพื่อนมัน
จบแล้ว
ไม่เปิดไมค์คุยกับใครอยู่กัน
You know, we've been walking around for a
มึงหล่อ
while
นเหี้ยอะไร
now.
เนี่ย
Why don't we go back to the Spina di Rosula base in the court of Fontaine and have a rest? Now that
โห
you've
ย
been
เหี้ย
so
เควส
about
เต็มเลย
having a
สัตว์
place ready for us there,
จะหมดกี่โมงเนี่ยเควสเนี่ย ขึ้นมาใหม่อีกแล้ว
ยาวๆไปค่ะ
โอ้โห เคลียร์เควสแบบใด
อุ้ยได้ดาวไอ้นี่เหรอ
ดาวอะไรวะ
สีอะไรนะนักเดินทาง
ยังไม่ได้ทำอะไรเลยกับนักเดินทาง
ธาตุน้
ยังไม่ได้ทำอะไรกับธาตุน้ำจริงๆนะ ยังไม่เปลี่ยนด้วย ยังไม่ทำอะไรเลย
คิวเลน
ลงไม่ได้หรอ
ว่ามันน่าจะโดนเกาหลังนะพี่ต่อ
เอาหมวกเก่าข้างหน้าที่ล่ะ
ำมันเล่นไฟเตอร์มา 2,500 มันบอกฟาร์มไม่เป็นกูงงเลยว่ะ
มันต่อแหลไง
เหี้ย
ไม่อยากฟาร์มกลัวโดนด่า
and it's empty and waiting
มัน
for
สมอง
us.
การเกษตรไม่รู้จักเหรอ
Navia is such a good person. Now that
ไม่
the
ใช่คนนะ
serial
ควาย
disappearances case has been solved,
เผลอๆควายฉลาดกว่า
going
มัน
to
ด้วย
come
ควาย
after
ไถ
us
นา
for
เป็นอะ
anything. Even without Silver standing guard, we can just completely relax. Why don't we stay and rest up here for a while? Even machines in Fontaine need to stop and recharge now and then.
สจวตนะคะสจวตนะคะ
เฮ้ยลืมออก
พี่ต่อ
แหว
ส
น
จวตอยู่กูอะกูโดนอะเลนกลางอยู่ครบ3เลย
Remember that detective story Paimon read before? Well, he offered. Ready to
กูว่าโดน
Come on, let's get some
ยังไงก็โดน
to be up first thing
เอ้ย ไก่เลิกขัน
อย่าว่าไก่ดี
มาถึงลาดแต่พี่อะไร
เกลียดเลยแม่งกูวิ่งตามตั้งนานมาถึงแม่งลาด
Paimon didn't expect that style at all. Even though it's a detective novel, it's also like a social
เฮ้
documentary.
ย
Ooh,
กันหาพร้อม
ไปแล้วจ้าฟิกแล้วจ้ากูเนี่ยเสียฟิกแล้วจ้าเลนกลางแม่ง4 ตัวไอสัตว์ใครจะอยู่
But do you know if the traveler and Paimon are lodging here?
กดสติ๊กเกอร์ใส่กูครับพ่อมึงอะ
อะ
Who are you? Paimon doesn't recall seeing you before. Wait, you're not here to give us trouble, are you?
อยากเวล4แล้ว
A
เมื่อไหร่เวล
blonde
4วะ
traveler and a chatty little fairy.
เฮลมีไหมคะ
Looks like
มา
I
แล้วค่ะ
found the place. Good thing I asked the Spina di Rosula. Seems
อุ้ย
they
เล้ง
sent
มัน
me
โด
the
น
right
ดิ
way.
โฮโล
Hey, what do you mean by chatty?
ปลาเขเหรอ
Careful not to talk too much. Most of the time, anyway.
เอาดิเอาดิ
It's an honor to meet you
เอาดิ
both.
พี่ต่อ
I was sent from the
เอ
Palais
อไอสัตว์
Marmonia. Monsieur Nourilat wishes to see you.
เมื่อไหร่กูจะได้คิว
It
สักที
seems
ว่า
he
กู
has
มาเติมตั้ง
something
นานอะ
important to discuss in person.
Nivelette? She wants to see us again already? Huh. We
โอ้
talked so
ไอ
much
ชิบ
the
หาย
last
กูเล่น
time we
มา
met.
แข่งโดน
Has
นะนะพี่ต่อ
something happened since then?
I am not privy to the details.
ไอ้เหี้ย
It would
ฟิ
be
ก
best if you
ตัด
came to
กู
the
ไป
Palais
แล้วจ้า
Marmonia
ตัวใคร
and
ตัว
asked
มัน
Monsieur Nourilat in person.
เฮ้ยแข่งโดนนะพี่ต่อดิ
If you say so.
เอ้ยกูโดนล้อเลี้ยวไอ้
Paimon
เหี้
has
ย
a bad feeling about this.
ไม่เป็นไรได้อยู่
Now that I've delivered the message, I'll take my leave.
Thanks. We haven't
อ๋อ
left the
บ่น
room
ควย
for
เลย
a
ไว้
few
สัต
days,
ว์
so we'll head
โก
over
กแม่ง
once
แล้ว
we
ทีนี้
freshened up a bit.
มันบ่นมัน
ไม่รู้
กูเล่นดีกว่าหนังหน้ามึงอะค่ะ ไม่ต้องบ่นค่ะอีดอก
อ้าวอยู่ๆก็ไปว่าเขางงว่ะ
มึงเก็บปากกูไปไหนเนี่ยไอ้เหี้ย
มึงคุยกับเพื่อนมันเปล่า
ไม่รู้ มันเปิดไมค์ใหญ่มั้งเนี่ย
มัน
ก็
มา
เหมื
ใค
อ
ร
นฉั
อะ
นกับเชลเปิดไมค์ใหญ่คุยกันสัตว์คิดว่าเป็นไมค์
ติดอะไร
เล็ก
ไอ้เหี้ย
มันคุยกับเพื่อนมันเปล่ามันมากับเพื่อนมันอะสักตัวหนึ่งอะคิดว่านะ
ตายเขาเป็นอย่างนั้น
ตอนแรกก็งงทำไมเขารู้ว่าเราพูดแลคโตบาซิลัสแบงสรุปเปิดไม้ใหญ่
แล้วกูใช้ชีวิตยังไงน่ะ
มันจะขึ้นไปยังไงอ่ะ
กูใช้ชีวิตยังไงนี่กูเจอรอยเลี้ยว
ออกแหวนคุ้มอยู่นะ
One
เดี๋ยว
with
เดี๋ยวนะ
nature.
โอ้
แมว
คา
กู
สึ
ปั่น
ฮะ
อะไรอยู่
โด
วะ
ดน้อย
พี่ต่อรอยเลี้ยวไปรอยเลี้ยวไปรอยเลี้ยวไป
เห็นแล้วเรียกแล้วโอ้มาหมดเลยไอ้เหี้ยคิวลินก็มา
มึงอ้อยกูโง่มากอะวิ่งมาตั้งนานนะ ไม่โหดไม่ห้อยไม่เหี้ยอะไรเลยอะอ้อยกูอะตายเรียบร้อยอย่าก้าวหลังพี่เนาะ
ถ้ามันปีนยากนะก็วาร์ปเถอะ
กูไม่เข้าใจอ้อยกูอะ
ร่วมงานเลี้ยง งานเลี้ยงอะไรวะไหนๆก็เล่นให้จนจบไปเฮีย
กูเล่นเป็นใช่ไหมอ้อยเนี่ยขับรถดิส่งกูทีไม่ต้องขับก็ได้กูวิ่งมาเองไอ้สัตว์ไม่จำเป็น
นี่บินมาหา
ตายเรียบร้อยไอ้เหี้ย
We're here! Did you want to see us about something?
โอ้
Huh? Why were you just standing there? You daydreaming or thinking something over?
ไอ้เหี้ยเอ้ย
Yes,
มันรัด
I
กู
did
พี่
sense
ต่อ
some
ไอ้
defection.
สัตว์
But as for what I'd like to discuss next, I still have some reservations.
Given that we've already made the trip here, you should just tell us that you need us to help
ตาย
you
ไม่
something,
ตาย
right?
I do
ตาย
indeed
ดิปล่อย
have
มัน
something
ตาย
I'd
ดิ
like to ask you to do. However,
ไม่เอาให้มัน
you
ตา
should
ย
wait
วะ
until after I tell you the details, then decide for yourselves whether you'd like
ดาว
to
กู
help
คื
or
นมา
not.
ได้เลยไอ้เหี้ยกูเจอ
The
แต่ทีมโง่
situation
มาหลาย
is
ทีมแล้วนี่
this.
สัตว์
If I'm understanding you correctly, the Snezhnayan harbinger known as the
ทันปะเนี่ยพี่
Knave
ต่อ
has essentially requested a
กูว่าไม่น่า
diplomatic
ทัน
meeting
ว่ะ
with you, correct?
ไม่
I
ทั
heard
น
that she was originally from Fontaine, but for her to suddenly arrive here and abruptly request such a meeting like this, I sincerely advise you to refuse her invitation
กลาง
outright.
โดนอีกแล้วเนี่ย
เด่นกลางว่ะ
I'm sure you're aware that her purpose is most likely related to Child's recent predicament. We convicted one of the Snezhnayan
Ui,
harbingers in a court of law,
โอ้ย
but we have
โดน
yet
ไอ้
to
เหี้ยนี่
provide any form of detailed report on the matter. This does indeed provide an
Oh,
opportunity for
right.
Snezhnaya to put pressure on us. I believe we should adopt an evasive stance until we can provide a proper
Right, I hear ya.
explanation and have a preliminary plan on how to deal with the matter.
No, we shouldn't. I
You
think
lend
we
you never.
should agree to the meeting.
Oh?
นั่นนอนมาแล้ว
Well, you see,
อย่าเพิ่งเข้าพุ่ง
we
อย่าเพิ่งเข้า
are
พุ่งอย่า
the
เพิ่งมาอย่า
ones
เพิ่งมา
that
ขอว่า
owe
ก่อน
an explanation. If
Oh,
we
dear,
keep putting off the
eh?
meeting, this could easily result in the problem escalating, right? It's like a fight between two friends. If they don't agree to see each other and talk in person, isn't it possible that the friendship could end entirely?
เกือบตาย
Though
กูเนี่ย
diplomatic
กูเนี่ยเกือบ
relations
ตาย
between
อ่ะ
Fontaine and Snezhnaya could be
ไม่
considered
เคยได้
as
ยิงแม่งอี
friendly,
กสัตว์ลำ
it is only superficially so.
แม่ง
You
ลำ
wouldn't
แล้ว
go
แม่ง
so
ดูด
far
เลือด
as
ด้วย
to
อีก
say
แส
that our nations are
ตัดเลือด
friends,
ยังไม่พอ
as
อี
you
กเหรอ
did in your example.
หยาดมันได้ออกปะ
It was just an analogy. An analogy, okay?
หยาดไม่ออก
Moreover, even if we were to talk in
หยาด
person,
ไม่ออกตัด
if
เลื
we
อด
don't have sufficient information prepared,
หมดคำจะ
it's
พูดเลย
quite possible the result
เดียวม้า
wouldn't
กระดูด
be
เลือดไอ้
so
สัตว์ไม่ออกงง
but a complete falling out.
I don't think we should overthink those possibilities yet. Even if the logic of the divine is not immediately apparent, its wisdom will only be revealed
ตาย
with
ปล่อยกูตาย
time. Besides, you'll be at the meeting. If any problems do pop up, you'll have no problem
เล่นกลางเอาอ
navigating
ยู่แล้วว่ะ
them.
พี่ต่อ
I must clarify that interacting and
ข่ง
communicating
โดน
with people outside of court is not my cup of tea. It seems you think too much of me.
เหี้ยเอ้ย
But more importantly, when did I agree to
โอ้
join
โห
the meeting with
เดี๋ยว
you?
You mean you won't come? No, that won't do. I can't go to the meeting alone. You have
ตาย
to
ไม่พักเลยกู
accompany me. I must take you with me.
Lady Farina, could there be something else regarding this matter that is being kept from me?
No, not at all.
หน้าอะไรของนางวะเนี่ย
I am the Hydro Archon of Fontaine, Focalor, the god of justice who is loved and adored by many. So I only hope that
เออ
justice
สัก
will
ที
be
นึงดิ
served in this matter.
เอา
Don't overthink it.
กูว่าจะซ้อนทั้งหน่อย ใครซ้อนมันวะ
กูซ้อนอยู่
ไอ้สัสขี่ผ่านหน้ากูเฉยเลยคิวเลนมานะคิวเลนมานะ
อีเหี้ยที่ก็มา
Though it
Hui.
could officially be considered
Papa
a
Malay.
diplomatic conference,
ไอ้
I
เหี้ย
prefer to see our meeting today as an
โดน
ordinary
ใคร
tea
วะ
party.
อุ้ย
ตาย
เสียง
Do you see it the
นี่
same
ทีเดียว
way,
พี่ต่อ
Miss Farina?
อีไม่มีท่าสองท่าสองก็ได้
อะไรคีโน
ร้อยเรียวไม่เก็บไปสี่เลย
มาแล้ว
ชัดดาวด้วย
Lady Farina?
Oh, yes, that's right. Just like you said, a tea
อย่า
party.
ให้เลนกลางแตกพี่ต่อ
I should thank you for providing
มึ
the
ง
pastries.
มึงบอกกูก่อน
They
กูยังไม่
look
เกิดเลยเนี่ย
delectable.
อ้าวเหรอ
To make this tea party even more
ทำไมมึง
lively,
ตายตอนไหนอะ
invited
โดนคิว
someone
เลนไล่
else
เมื่
to
อกี้
join us today.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Monsieur Neuvillette. I was born in Fontaine, so naturally, there's no need to introduce the nation's revered Eudex to me.
Hello. The pleasure is also mine.
First, I would
Why,
like to
Fallon?
thank the
กับ
two
ปู
of you.
ไปแน่นอน
I'm often away on business outside of Fontaine, and I'm told that the children of the House of the Hearth have been well taken care of by you.
ว่าแล้ว
Oh, I'm not referring to when my children, Linny and Lynette, were falsely accused by you. Please don't misunderstand. The children of the House of the Hearth are often misunderstood, perhaps due to the reputation
Ôi,
of
phải
their
thằng mày mà
children.
nó-
ตายเหมือนกันค่ะ
There's no getting around that.
เหี้ย
All
เอ้ย
I meant to say is that Fontaine has been stable in recent years. The people are well off and the children
เปิด
lead
ด่าคือ
happy,
เลยเป็นไงสัตว์
fulfilled lives. That is something truly worth cherishing, and no one wishes to disrupt
เล่นเกม
such peace.
Now then, you have come regarding the matter of child, correct?
เหมียวนอน
Well, yes.
เหมียวนอนอยู่
It appears the ever-busy Eudex Neuvillette doesn't wish to waste time with
Die.
diplomatic pleasantries, and hopes that we
ทั
can
น
get
ปะเนี่ย
straight
พี่ต่อ
to the point of our talk.
ทำไมตามันโตจังวะ
Yes, as you surmised, understanding child's situation is indeed one of the goals of this
เต้
trip.
เอ้ยเหมียวนอนอยู่
As
เต้
we are both diplomats from Snezhnaya, as well as Fatui harbingers, Child and I have always been
เหมีย
colleagues.
วนอนอยู่
Were
ฮัลโหล
anything to happen in Fontaine,
เต้เหมีย
each
วนอ
of
น
us
อยู่
would serve as the other's attorney to resolve the issue. So now, in my capacity as his attorney, I request that Child be turned over to Snezhnaya. We have a responsibility to
กิน
cooperate
นม
with
แล้วเนี่ยนะ
Fontaine
เดี๋ยว
and
นี้กิน
resolve
นม
what
แล้ว
has
ส่งพลัง
happened to
นะ
him together.
The rules governing attorneys only apply before a trial
เฮ้ย
is
หมดทีมเหรอ
concluded.
พี่ต่อ
Since a verdict has already been rendered, we see the
ไม่น่า
case
ได้
as
พี่
settled.
ต่อยังแบกว่ะ
I apologize for
นี่
being
ไง
unable to
ความนิด
grant
นิด
your
เดียว
request.
An
300 ได้ป่าววะ
outright
พี่ต่อ
refusal. Very well. I
ระ
respect
วังร้อน
all
เดียว
the rules of Fontaine's courts,
จะโล
just
ให้
as
แล้ว
I respect
ถอยออกมา
you
ถอยออกมา
as
พี่ต่อถอยออกมา
Chief Justice. Okay.
แข่งดักหน้าไปแล้ว
Why don't we back up a
มาเด
step?
สัตว์
นี่ที
You
เดียวเอง
don't need to transfer child to
Sure.
us. I only request to enter the fortress of Meripede to see
Sure.
child and
ทีเดียว
confirm
พี่ต่อ
his
ป้อมเนี้ย
condition.
ได้ปะ
ไม่ได้2 ที
It's not like you couldn't
300
even
เองอะ
manage to
หยิบมา
fulfill a simple request like that.
ให้ปล่อยคลิปตีก็ได้มั้ง
Right, Miss Farina.
มันกำลังเข่าบานให้มันได้นอนเนี่ยเอาใคร
The fortress of Meripede has always been completely
มัน
autonomous.
ตื่นเลย
Even we have
เต้
no
เหมียว
authority.
ตื่น
ไป
เล
ไหน
ย
เนี่ย
เต้
โอ้โห
And diplomatic issues do not
พา
suffice
กูไป
as
ไหน
an
เอ่ย
excuse. However,
ป่าม
if
ตาย
you
หาไปแล้ว
absolutely must confirm the situation of
มัน
the
ตื่นเลยอ่ะ
harbinger,
ไปกวนแมว
I have a proposal.
มึงคิวเลนว่าอย่าโดนคิวเลนไว้
The knave
กำลัง
showed
เย็
up
นเย็นๆ
already.
พี่ตาเอ้ยแดดว่ามี
Well, Linny did say that father will be returning soon.
ไม่ได้วะลึกเกิน
อุ้ย
คิ
พี่
วเล
ต่อน กูโดนจริงจัง
Linny was from the
นั่นน่ะ
House of the Hearth at the time,
ซอรี
so we
ลืม
kind
เปิด
of
ปาก
overlooked that information.
แต่ว่ามันอันตีไปแล้วนะเราเดียวอะ
Yes, thank you for your kind advice. I'm well aware of the situation. I also noticed that Lady Farina acts a little odd and unnatural whenever I bring up matters related to the knave.
Could the knave be threatening Lady Farina or something?
เล็บลิ้นกัน
If
เล็บลิ้น
that were the
Let me-
case,
Oi,
why
2
wouldn't
ที
Lady
เอง
Farina inform me? And what
Oi.
means could the knave possibly have to
Enne.
twist the arm of
อย่า
an
ตายหม
archon?
ดทีม อย่าตายหมดทีม ขอร้องอย่าตายหมด
Maybe that's not very
แม่
likely.
กูบอกว่าอย่าตายหมด
Though
ไอ้สัตว์
Farina can act a little
โอ้กู
weird
ตาย
at
9 ตัวเล
times,
ยเอ้ย
she's still an Archon.
In reality, this problem is even more
ไม่เคย
thorny
พร้อม
than
กัน
it
แล้วมึงไม่เค
appears.
ยรอเลยควาย
According to reports from the fortress of Meripede, Child recently disappeared
จัด
under mysterious circumstances.
ไม่ได้ร้อนนั่นเล่นเกมเนี่ยใช้อารมณ์ถาม
ตุ้
เฉ
น
ย
กูหิวข้าวแล้ววะ
เฉย
ต้มมาม่ากิน
ต้องมาม่าเหยอย่าขี้เกียจออกไอ้สัตว์
ถามโง่ๆไม่เคยพร้อมกัน เข้าไม่เคยรอเลยนางจะเป็นเจ้าดึงเบัตรยางเนาะจะเบื่อนได้จากกระทีมนัดไม่ไงมึงต้องเอาอีกนี่นะ
The details are still unclear. We cannot rule out an escape.
ว่ามันจบกลาง
There
พี่
have
ต่อ
also been no
มันจบ
reports of
กลาง
him outside of the fortress of Meripede.
ป้อมก็เท่ากันนี่หว่า
Special guards oversee the fortress, and its internal systems are extensive. Combined with the special characteristics of
ไอ้
the
เพื่อนเราสิ
surrounding
ให้ไปหา
terrain,
มืออื่น
an
เป็นว่าอยาก
escape
มา
should not
เดิ
be
นยางไปหน่อย
possible. I suspect that there's something else behind
โอ้โห
Child's
มันเห็นกูได้
disappearance.
ไงวะเนี่ย
เข้าไป
I
ทำไม
was
วะ
only willing to share this information with you
โดน
because
คิวเล
you
น
are friends
กู
of
เข้าไปไม่
Child,
ได้ด้วย
and it is my duty to see justice done.
So this is what you wanted to see us about before.
Yes. I would like you to go to the fortress of Meripede and investigate Child's disappearance. This was my proposal during our meeting with the knave. Rather than allowing her to
เด็ก
intervene,
เล็กนี่จะเป็น
I
คักหน่อย
offered to send someone to find out about Child's situation and report back to her in detail. The knave did not seem satisfied
มึงดู
by
ดิ
my
มันไม่ช่วยกู
proposal,
เคลียร์คลิปด้วย
but
ไอ้
she
สัส
still agreed to go along with it for the time being. Her words were, "We will talk
Keep saying
more
that, man.
once we have that
คน
report."
ช่วยแล้วนะ
So that means we
ด่ากู
bought
เป็นไปมาก
ourselves some time.
Firstly, you're already acquainted with Child. Your eyes may discern relevant details there that others would miss. And secondly, is the consideration of the unique nature of the fortress of Meripede.
Isn't it just Fontaine's prison?
I would not define it so crudely. The fortress of Meripede is not
แหกตาด้วย
affiliated
ใคร
with
แบ
the
ก
court
อีกสัตว์
system of Fontaine
เย
on
อะ
paper.
เหี้ย
It has always existed as an autonomous entity. Early in Fontaine's history, criminals were punished with exile, not imprisonment. Even today, sentences against convicted criminals still include exile, just as before. The fortress of Meripede may seem like a prison, but it should in fact be regarded as a gathering place for exiles. All we do is dispatch guards to keep watch and help maintain security, but we have no right to get involved with any other matters. Although I do have a personal relationship with the administrator there, neither myself nor the courts have the right to be directly involved with the investigation, no matter how serious the grounds.
That's why you need us to conduct our own investigation as a third party, right?
Correct. I will arrange false charges against you so that you may secretly investigate inside the fortress during your detention. This will save us a lot of unnecessary trouble. So, are you two willing to accept my proposal?
เบิดเลยได้เกี่ยวหนึ่งพี่ตาลยังอยู่สองแก้วใส่ชีวิตจังได๋วะละแก้วเป็นยังว่ามื้อละแก้วละ
Yeah, no matter how you look at it, it seems we're the best choice. All right,
สิว่ากินคือกันมันโทรมาบอกให้ลดน้ำหนักว่าล่ะอยากตายก่อนว่าล่ะ
reluctantly.
You two have my sincere thanks. This matter is of critical importance to Fontaine's current situation. Also, I hope that both of you can keep this operation a secret. We will rendezvous at the Fortress of Meripede's entrance on Irenaeus once you've prepared yourselves. I will arrange for someone to take you inside.
Prepared ourselves? Is there something we need to prepare?
Perhaps you could enjoy a good meal and have a nice bath. I'm afraid that living conditions inside the fortress are nothing like those on the outside world.
Oh, right! Even though we'll be there on trumped-up charges, we'll be in prison for... on second thought, is it too late to back out?
อยู่เถียงยายสิบแม่นบ่
Please do not worry. Since you are sacrificing both your time and quality of life for the sake of delivering this report, you will be compensated according to the highest standards permitted to legal staff, regardless of the outcome.
Now that's more like it. Come on, traveler, let's go eat the best meal we can find. We'll eat so much that we won't need to eat another meal for a whole month. Your treat.
Are you leaving now? In that case, please take this cake as a token of my personal gratitude.
เค้กส้มเหรอไอหาไปมอนกินหมดคือว่า
เจออีลินพี่ต่อออกแข่งก็ได้นะพี่ต่อไม่ต้องออกก่อนเกิดออกแข่งก็ได้
แม็กเม็ดแตก
โอ้ยเดี๋ยวที่พี่ก็ไล่สิออกยี่ขึ้นเขียวเจ้ากับซีโรนเขียวป้อมเลยเขียวป้อม
เศร้าเลย
Paimon will have that, and that. Oh, and one of those too. A new Fontaine,
เจ็บ
thank
คอ
you.
จังเลย
Yeah.
That was pretty good. But as soon as Paimon remembered that we're about to go to prison, Paimon's stomach suddenly became completely empty.
ต่อมาหลอดไป
อีเหี้ยนี่รู้มาก
Now that Paimon thinks about it, we've always been super careful ever since we arrived in Fontaine, just to avoid breaking any
เบิร์ดเปิด
strange
สิงอแง
laws
ก็งอ
here.
แง
But here we are, about to willingly send ourselves off to the Fortress of Meripede.
พี่ต่อมาหลอดไป
Maybe this is what they call
อีเหี้ยนี่แม่งจังไรใช่ไหม
Let's just try our best to investigate everything quickly once we get there.
ถึงใจค่ะ
Paimon doesn't want to stay in prison too long.
เอา
เลิศค่ะ
Oh, what is that I
เกิด
hear?
บัตรเหรอ
Is it the taste of a breaking story?
Hey, you can't
เนี่ยหาแม็กตายหาไปแล้ว
And what are you doing here, Charlotte?
Oh, don't remind me. I invited an eyewitness to a case to eat here. I was planning to get some great material.
เห็นยังวันนี้ไม่ได้
But
จอบ
he didn't even show up. Calm down.
อุ้ย ฮ้ยอะไรวะยังไม่ได้สักอันเลยเนี่ยกูสกอร์กูยัง0-0เลยเนี่ย
เดี๋ยวก็เก่งนะเดี๋ยวก็คิวได้
เอ้าตอนนี้แข่งโดนลาดกูอีกแล้ว
Still hear you, Charlotte.
ดีไหมลิเตอร์มันเป็นซัพพอร์ตอะมันเอาคิวไปถึงอะไร
I
นี่
just heard you mention the fortress of Meripede. You didn't
Bye.
commit a crime, did you?
ตาย
Tell me all about it.
พี่ต่อช่วยปาหน่อยจะรู้ให้แล้ว
เอาสรุปไอ้ห่านั้นเล่นอะไรอะที่มันบ่นอะ
ขอสักทีหนึ่งดิ
Oh no, Paimon almost forgot that Neverlet told us to keep it a secret.
Huh? You're being arrested for that?
15-16 นาที
But now that I think about it, I suppose that's not completely unreasonable. That's
รอด
pretty
มานะพี่ต่อ
despicable, almost as offensive as committing theft.
You mean Paimon really did something
แร
that
ดเหรอ
serious?
ไม่มีมานะ
Paimon really messed up.
Well, in that case, it's nothing particularly newsworthy after all.
นาคอสไว้พี่ต่อ
Disappointing.
แรดข้างหลัง
Right, there's still a chance. Since you're going to be at the fortress
พี่
of
ต่อแรด
Meripede,
แรด
กูเห็นแล้ว
willing to help me gather some material for a story?
พรุ่งนี้กูบอกแล้วพรุ่งนี้
Oh, it's nothing difficult.
Ui, mới
All
đài
you
chi
have to
điều.
do is think of a way to get some time face to face with the warden of the fortress.
มาทันในหอนก
He
อง
was
น้ำอยู่
awarded
พี่ตาเด้อ
the honorary title of Duke in Fontaine.
ก็ยังว่ากรอกไปบางวันบางก่อนนี่โรงงานน้ำเปิดอีกแล้ว
Significant contributions to the nation have been conferred this title. It's
ก็ใส่
incredible.
บริการดีค่ะ
On top of that, the fortress of Meripede has never
โอ้
been
ยเรา
under
ไป
the
ทีละ3
jurisdiction of
ขว
the
ด
courts.
ยิบเลยอยู่
Practically nobody, including journalists like me, knows anything about the person in charge there.
ถ้านั้นเพิ่นว่าอยากกรอกหลาย
Write
เพิ่น
an
ว่า
exclusive
ยังมี
article
สิกเกอ
about
ร์
him. I bet it would sell a boatload of papers.
You make it sound easy, but it really
บ่ายสาม
depends.
แล้วนะเนี่ย
Of course, I wouldn't ask you to do it
พี่
for
ต่อ
free.
เล่นไม่ได้
So
วะ
this
อาณา
meal
ไอ
is
จะหมด
on me.
อะไรนะ
You got a deal. We'll do anything you want.
Then it's settled. The food should be here any second, right? Huh? Wait,
อ้าวปากกู
just
ไม่มา
how
ด้วยกู
much
แข่ง
did
โด
you
น
order?
มันสั่งเยอะจริ
20
ง
แล้วชิตี้เจ้าใหญ่ขึ้นนี่มันดื้อหลายแม่นบ่ระวังนะคะนาน
Wait. Paimon just said something
ไอ้วะ
really
สงวน
ominous, didn't she?
ฮัลโหลเราไปทอง
เกียสุดยอด
เราไปมาแล้ว
ไปกู
แมนเอาไปอยู่
All right, Neverlet, we're ready. Is this where the entrance is?
You have come, just as promised. Yes, this is the one and only entrance to the fortress of Meripede from Irenaeus. Careful.
ทำไมคิวเราเยอะกว่าทำไมป้อมเราดูเสียเปรียบจังเลยวะ
Oh, so you have to go down from here? Is the prison underwater?
Utilizing both the barrier of the water as well as the fear humans have of
Ow.
the depths, the fortress of Meripede is naturally the perfect place to confine and guard criminals. But do not worry.
ตายแม็ก
It's
มันไป
not
ไหนวะนะ
nearly as frightening inside as you may think. You will see for
Tổng tổng.
yourselves once you are down there.
ก็ชื่อมันก็บอกอยู่แม็กเม็ดแตก
Don't know about
อะไรนะ
you, but just thinking about
แม็กอะไรนะ
เม็ดแตก
being like that gives Paimon the heebie-jeebies.
ไอสัตว์แล้วมั่งย้ำด้วยนะ
Oh, and there's one more thing. I
เอา
mentioned
ก็
that
ถาม
the
มึงถาม
professional
กูเลย
dealings
ตอบ
with
ให้
the administrator
ไม่
fortress
กู
rides
ตี
Lee.
มอยู่
He's a
กูโด
very
นเหยียหน้าลำเหยีย
good fellow.
กูโดนแดงไหมเนี่ย
เหยียหน้าไม่ยังดีจังวะออฟเลนมันอะ
Duke, right?
Correct. He is the highest-ranking manager of the underwater prison.
กูไม่น่าถามเล
Even
ย
though you are going there to investigate at my behest, it would behoove you to avoid any
โอ้ยชอบ
confrontation with
ทำไม
him
อยู่
or
เข้า
any of his
ก๋วยเตี๋ยว
subordinates.
แม่ง
The Duke rarely ever
เรียบ
leaves
ร้อย
the
มาหล
fortress
อ
of
ดเก็บเรี
Meripede,
ยบ
but that does not mean he is not privy to all that is happening
Риеб
inside and
лой.
outside the fortress. All right.
เรียบร้อ
It's
ย
about
หมด
all the
ตี
time that we have to talk privately. I'm counting on you two.
Don't worry, we won't let you
ตา
down.
ยไปเอาเขากูว่าตาย
Madeline,
ติปเปิลคิว เลิศ
I'm here, Monsieur Nervalet. These two are the newest convicts, I presume? Don't worry, they won't escape on my watch.
เอา
ป้อมกลางด้วยค่ะ
Please follow me, you two. I'll process your paperwork for entering the fortress of Meripede.
ตีป้อมกลางให้เร็วๆหน่อยสิครับ
กูตีอยู่กูเป็นเมดค่ะ มึงกับแครี่
อะไรอ่ะ หยุดเควสชั่วคราวเราทำเควสปัจจุบัน คืออะไรวะ
อีลินลำกู อีลินลำกู ไม่มีใครมารับกูเลยอ่ะ
มันต้องขนาดนี้เลยอีลิน
เฮ้ย
ตายไปดิมึง
เดือดไอ้เหี้ยเยน่าแม่งรู้ด้วย
Are we already underwater now?
ไอ้มันไปใส่เดี่ยวกันนะ
So this is what it feels like to be a criminal in Fontaine.
You two seem to be taking this pretty well. It's rare to see convicts in such a good mood.
จะเป็นเจ้าหลากหลายอารมณ์กากแลบลิ้นกันแลบลิ้นนี่
ใครมันขอเข้าโลกกูนักหนานี้เล่นเควสอยู่
โอ้โหโทรศัพท์พญาตวนเจ้าบ่ได้อันนี้บ่ได้พญาตวนสิหายเลยแล้วยังโทรศัพท์แล้วพังแล้วก็จมเลยอ่ะ
ตกใจหมดมันขึ้นไม่ได้
ไม่ตายว่ะพี่ต่อ
ตายแทน
ลีหลิงกี้จะไปก้วนอีลินใกล้ตายแล้วอ่ะก้อยเอาสิ
หวนไปไหนวะ
กูก็ไม่เข้าใจมันเหมือนกัน
Why'd they make you make
ไม่
the trip down
แต่ก็
here?
มันก็ดีกับตาที่แล้วอะ
Monsieur
ตาที่แล้ว
Nervalet
อะไรก็ไม่รู้
personally requested I escort these two
แต่ที่
convicts.
แล้วแม่งเดินเส้นทาง
I
ตรงแล้ว
suppose
แม่ง
he
ไม่
was
โหนเลยกู
concerned
ไม่เข้าใจ
others
มันเหมือ
might
นกัน
not be up to the task.
Well, now, aren't you the lucky one? Must be nice to be on good terms with the big shots like the Chief Justice. The only people I get to see every day are the new inmates.
Well, have you tried service with a smile?
ตาย
Who knows? It might help
What?
your professional reputation.
Yeah, right. As if. Every criminal comes through here looking miserable.
โอ้โหตายอยู่ดีวะ
How can I smile with such a toxic work environment? And even if I did smile at them, the convicts would probably just think that I'm some freak getting some kind of twisted enjoyment from their pain.
Oh, she's got a point.
Well, I've finished transferring you. You two will register here, and Moret will guide you through the remaining
เอ
procedures.
อ
Yep.
เพอเวอร์กับเพอเวอร์
You head on back to that bright and sunny world above.
โอ้
Okay, let me see. You are the traveler and Paimon, correct?
เออ
Let me confirm your charges and sentence. Let's see. You two
Tạm
were
mét này, tạm
charged
mét này.
with eating a cake specially prepared for the Archon by a Snezhna
จะเป็น
and
เจ้าหลากหลายอาร
envoy
มณ์กั
without
ก
the Archon's permission, thereby incapacitating the political
อ
center
ย่า
of
บ่มักบ่
Fontaine
หมอง
for a
เย็น
brief
ๆเต็งเต
period. Sentence:
หืม
45 days.
นั่น
Huh? Wait. You mean the cake that Nervalet gave us was...
Just looking at the charges, it seems you two are capable of causing some serious trouble. And considering how fond Lady Furina is of sweets, this crime is tantamount to trying to assassinate the Hydro Archoners. Now I've seen
เธอไม่
everything.
สบตาฉันเลยนะ
Anyway, we still need to finish processing you before you can enter the fortress of Meripede. Please stand in front of the board over there.
บ๊ายบายแล้วนะ
I'll take your
บ๊ายบาย
mugshots
แล้ว
with
นะ
my camera.
Oh, all right. But be sure to catch Paimon's good side.
บ๊ายบายแล้วนะบ๊ายบายบายบ๊ายบายเร็วๆบ๊ายบายโอ้ย
เหี้ยนักโทษจัด
บ๊ายบาย
กูเป็น
มาหล
นั
อก ด
โท
ติ๊ก
ษ
เหรอ
โอ้ยเหี้ยมึงตัดเลย
มาดิชิบหายแล้ว
ไอ้เหี้ยกูก็ไปว่าเป็นนักโทษซะแล้ว โดนเข้าคุกอัสคาบันปะเนี่ยไม่ใช่
ก็แค่นั้นแหละเพี้ยน
Thank you for your cooperation. Next, someone will be along to guide you inside the fortress. Please be sure to cherish this opportunity
กู
for
เล่นเป็นซัพพอร์ต
rebirth.
เลยเนี่ย
Huh? Rebirth?
ทีมก็ฆ่าได้เยอะกว่า ป้อมไม่ได้สักป้อมหนึงเลยเหรอวะ
I'm gonna be here for 45 days.
You two are the new inmates, right? Follow me.
สักทีเถอะ
ไม่เอาป้อมก็เอาคองก็ได้ค่ะ กูขอร้องละค่ะ
Paimon, and this is the traveler.
Save it. Not like
บ
I'll
รร
remember
ยา
your
กาศ
names.
นี้
Move it.
มันดีเกิน เมื่อเช้ายุงแดกกูไป5 ตุ่มพี่ต่อ
มันเยอะขนาดนั้นเหรอวะ
อยู่กัน3 คนแดกกูคนเดียว กูก็ไม่เข้าใจ ไม่เข้าใจว่าเป็นเพราะอะไรเหมือนกันวิเหี้ยแล้วมันโดดโดนกูได้ไงเนี่ย
อร่อย
โอ้ยสัตว์มัน
แต่
ขาด
กูวางวงให้สวยอยู่นะพี่ต่อ
ยุ่งบอก
เลิศ
อ
มาก
ร่อยอควาเรียมปะเนี่ยเฮีย
So, are you one of the guards here? Is there anything we should be careful of while we're here?
กูลำเมื่อกี้แม่งโดนขัด
Did Paimon already ask something she wasn't supposed to?
Why should I tell you anything?
อย่าให้ป้อมกลาง
What's in
แต
it
ก
for
พี่
me?
ต่อ
This is exactly why I can't stand you fish.
ล้
I wouldn't
ล้ำ
even be doing this if it weren't for the
เฮ้ย มัน
credit
มีก่อเกิด
coupons.
โอ้ย
Credit coupons?
เยอะจีหน้าไอีสัตว์เลย
บอกนะท็อปเลนแม่งเล่นดี
Seeing as
จัด
you're
เลย
not the annoying
ท็อป
kind
เลน
that's
กูก็
getting
ดีเหมือนกัน
dragged in here crying and blubbering, I guess I can tell you a few things. But next time,
คนไหน
it'll
ใกล้
cost
ตาย
you
แม่ง
some
เอาหมดเลยเอา
coupons.
เลนกูเนี่ย
Mora means nothing here.
พร้อม
Here, we use credit coupons.
โอ้ชื่อเขาก็บอกอยู่
Coupons can get you almost anything in the fortress of Meripede.
ไม่ต้องพูด
Desires? Fulfilled. You want power? No problem. Coupons can even
Ya
change
pa,
fate
tira.
itself.
So,
Dang.
credit coupons are a
Oh.
currency that can only be used here?
เอ็กคิวต่อหน้าต่อตากูเลยไอ้สัตว์
It's not as simple as that. Like Moret said, everyone gets a
ก็ต้อง
chance
ตี
at
เลยพี่ต่อ
rebirth.
แม่งเอ็กคิวไอ้
No
เหี้
matter how
ย
much money or power you
Kẻng
had
hết.
before, it means nothing
Oh,
once you
okay.
set foot inside the fortress of Meripede. You have to start over
สัก
and
ทีไหม
earn
ป้อม
your
อ่ะสักทีนึง
coupons.
เถอะ
Everyone starts from the same place, and you have a chance at a new, less terrible life.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
I guess that's the real purpose of the coupons. They symbolize true fairness and true justice. And this is also
ว่านาคอสมา
exactly
จ้วง
why
กู
so many
เชื่อไหม
อยู่ข้างล่าง
criminals choose not to return to the outside world, even after they've served
เอ้
their
ยช่วยกูดี
sentence.
พี่ต่อ
Oh, so that's what the fortress of
โอ้ย
Meripede
บ้าน
is
กัน
like.
ไม่อะไรกันเลย
Paimon was under
Cặp
the
căn này
impression
đấy.
that
Mấy
it'd
bà
be
cái
more
kia
like
ký
a
bên này rồi.
prison.
It certainly ain't all sunshine and
คลอง
roses
สิค่ะ
here,
เอาคลองสิ
but
ค่ะ
it's also not the worst place to be. You'd better take a good look at the scenery
เลื่อนมา
now.
ค่ะเป็นเลย
It'll
ค่ะ
be
เดี๋ย
the
วโซน
last
ให้
chance
ค่ะ
you get for a while. After being away from the sunlight for so long, even the terrifying depths of the sea start to
Yun
feel
eh.
like home.
กู
It
บอก
just
อยู่ว่า
stops
มันอยู่
feeling
นี่
oppressive, you know? Oh, I'm actually an inmate like you two. Welcoming newcomers is a job I've picked
Iya,
up
ni
to
tayang
earn some
kan, Dewa.
extra coupons.
โอ้โหแม่ง
คลอง
ดี
ดีแล้วเนี่ยอ่ะอีเยี่ยนี่มาอีกตัวหนึ่งได้ไอ้สัตว์เป็นเฮียอะไรครับอ่ะแล้วใครโดนคลองตีตายอ่ะ
มาแทงนานไง
เอ้าไอ้เฮียกูวางอันตีผิดดีกไอ้สัตว์
จะตายคนละไอ้เนี่ย
อันนี้ต้องบอโดนคลองตีตายไอ้สัตว์
Why aren't you answering us again?
สวยสวย
I've
ขอบ
told
คุณ
you
ที่ช
enough
ม
for free. Any more info is gonna cost you.
ตาดีมากค่ะ
So all
ขอบคุณ
you
ที่ชม
care
ค่ะ
about
ว่า
is
สวย
Mora. Wait,
เลิศ
no. Coupons?
Almost there. It's down through here.
อ๋อ
Your turn
เฮีย
to
มี
give it
พิ
a
ษค่ะ
try.
โดนมันจ้วงยับเลยอ่ะเฮ้ยแล้วจะตายพี่ต่อลำบึกลำอีก
ไม่ถึงว่าที่สกิลหมด
กูช่วยไป17อ่ะ เอาสิไอโดนมาหลอดทับตายวะ
ไปไงก่อน
นาคอนนะคะนาคอนนะคะดันป้อมสักทีค่ะ
เนี่ยมีทหารเฝ้าด้วย VIP จัด
เอาเลยค่ะ
โอ้โหมึงดูแม็กกูไอคีบใกล้มาแล้วอ่ะตีได้ปะวะ
จะตายสิ
We're going even deeper now? Just how deep down are we?
เอ้ยใจเย็นอ้อย
It's like a metaphor for your previous life, isn't it?
บ้านแป๊บค่ะ
Our lives weren't that bad.
เฮ้ยมึงเล่นใจเย็นๆกันหน่อยได้ไหมวะ
นั่งปุ๊บถึงปั๊บพามาสำรวจคุกเลยสัตว์
So this is the
มันจ้วง
actual
ใครวะ
entrance
จ้วง
to
กู
the
นี่หว่า
fortress of Meribid? Huh. It
Ah.
looks like there are other new arrivals
ไงละ
too.
มึง
Oh, they sure don't look happy. Maybe we look too relaxed for
Ano na
fresh
yan, wala?
convicts.
เล่นถึงวันดาวเท่าเดิม
เล่นทั้งวันดาวเท่าเดิมเลย ไม่3ก็4ดาวอะกูอะพวกเวิร์นขึ้นนอนทานันวะ
โอ้ย2
แม็
ดาก ว
เม็ด
พี่
แตกแล้วเป็นเกียร์อะไรกูต้องอ่านออกด้วยวะปวดเยี่ยวพี่ต่อปวดเยี่ยว
Oh, right.
หาหนมกิน
We're on someone else's territory now. We need to
เป็น
think
ม่
of
ว
a
ง
good
เลย
way
เนี่ย
to act like criminals to get by. If we're
เล่น
discovered,
ทั้งวันดาวเท่าเดิม
Meribid might not be able to rescue
จะ
us.
4 โมงแล้วนี่ มึงไม่ออกไปไหนล่ะ
ก็ไปรับยาย
จะ4 โมงแล้วนะ
มึงจะไปอาบน้
Ready for all this?
อาบน้ำ
มั
อี
น
กแล้ว
3
เหรอ
ครึ่งแล้วเนี่ย
Look, I don't really know you, and I have no
ำ
idea
กู
what
ยัง
kind
ไม่
of
ได้อาบ
crime
น้ำ
you
เลยตูน
committed, but
จริงเหรอ
you wouldn't have
Uh.
happened to anger someone important, did you?
Someone important?
ไปกินข้าวเที่ยงแล้วเหมือนกัน
So? Wait, why are you suddenly trying to talk to us
โชค
now?
ดี
Now's not the time to
ไป
worry
กินข้าว
about
เที่ยงก่อน
that.
นะคะ
Anyway,
เชิญ
it's
ค่ะ
over there, so you just go on over there by yourselves. I've done my job, so good luck.
What was that all about? Wait a second. Are there usually so many garter mechs around here? They're already onto us?
Prisoners numbers 7459 and 7560. Welcome. Well, no need to be anxious. These Gardamex aren't here to attack you. In fact, they're here as your honor guard. When I heard that you were friends of Monsieur Neuvillette, I had the Gardamex come and wait in formation.
Wait, you know about our connection with Neuvillette?
The seafloor isn't as cut off from the world as you might imagine. However, I'm afraid that I know nothing more than that you are friends of the Udex. And as you can see, committing a crime means being sentenced here, even if you're friends with the Chief Justice. Quite fair.
The Duke! Greetings, Your Grace. Lovely weather today, isn't it?
Oh, greetings, my good fellow. Well, I'm willing to imagine that the weather is as good outside the sea as you say it is. How great it would have been if only the fortress of Meripede had been built on the coast, huh? It would have been so convenient to enjoy a nice chat in the sunshine.
My profuse apologies. I just got so nervous when I saw you,
So this is the Duke. He sure looks a lot younger than Paimon imagined.
The Traveler and Paimon, correct? Mr. Deacon here was responsible for your welcome. I trust you were satisfied with his guidance? Ah, I see. In that case, I regret to announce that Deacon here has just missed the best opportunity in his prison career to be promoted.
I admit that I was only thinking about the coupons. I'm sorry to have disappointed you, Your Grace. I once hoped for a chance to do some higher-level work. I had no idea you two were big shots who were worthy of speaking with His Grace. Losing out on such a big opportunity because I couldn't see past my own nose.
Plenty of time ahead, Deacon. There'll be more opportunities. Well, I believe that concludes the introductions. We've already taken enough time here. Deacon, if you would.
Yes, Your Grace. I'll take my leave now.
Please, follow me. To make you feel more welcome, I'll show you around the various facilities of the Fortress of Meripede. I hope it'll help you adjust to life here.
He's going to personally give us a cure? Huh. Paimon can't figure out what... No wonder Charlotte's so interested in him. He's one of those mysterious types. Alright, let's keep up with him.
There's no need to be so reserved. The label of criminal is nothing but one of many identities. And being criminally inclined here at the fortress is just one of many ways to survive.
Is it really okay for the warden to think like that? We're real criminals, you know. What if we're too difficult to handle?
Well, then maybe you'll be able to carve out a name and a place for yourselves in this underwater world, But before you go in swinging, please remember that in the Fortress of Meripede, it's better to not cause trouble for yourself or for the guards. Now, we've arrived at a very important place, the Coupon Cafeteria. You can come here and claim one welfare meal each day.
Welfare meal? You mean it doesn't cost anything?
That's right. Criminals are essential to fortress operations, so we must guarantee that they at least have the basic means to survive.
But that's not how it was. Back in the day, it cost you credit coupons just to get a cup of water here. For fish like you who just arrived with nothing, you'd have to go to work hungry until you earned enough coupons to eat. It was only after His Grace became the administrator that we got the free meal rule. Now everyone gets a square meal every day, even no-good slackers who've never picked up a wrench in their whole lives. Nobody starves to death here.
In the Fortress of Meripede, credit coupons are the only currency, and everything must be purchased. In some sense, you could say using the coupons is a form of trade. But trade is always conducted by people. So if we want trade here to prosper, we need everyone to work hard and live their lives. If nobody could even afford a meal, then the whole fortress would be up in arms. That would only make things more difficult for me. So, rather than saying that we're giving everyone a free meal here, you should say that everyone's hard work has improved the living conditions in the Fortress of Meripede.
Your Grace's reasoning is correct, but what I said is also true. Whatever the case, hard work is rewarded here. You'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else as fair and reasonable.
Right! Paimon sees your point. By that logic, this place doesn't seem so bad after all. Oh, wait, no. We shouldn't drop our guard so quickly. But it seems the inmates really respect the Duke because of his attitude, right? We should still try to verify the truth with our own eyes.
Let's continue this way.
Staring into my eyes is ill-advised. I can't promise you'll like what you see.
This place is known as the Pancration Ring. Sometimes we have criminals who have more energy than they know what to do with. Their daily work alone isn't enough of an outlet for them. So, instead of leaving them to their own devices, we've provided them with this dedicated venue. This way, nobody will get involved unless they want to be.
Pancration matches? And you can earn extra coupons? Oh, what do you think, traveler? Interested?
But I must warn you that your sentence will be extended if you fail to restrain yourself and end up seriously injuring or killing your opponent.
So, did you set this place up too?
No, actually. I just granted approval for the organizer to use this area to build the ring, and I collect a portion of the proceeds in return. Of course, the fees are also quite useful.
Oh. Do you mind if we ask what they're used for?
Sure. Ensuring personal safety, maintaining the arena, and resolving any conflicts that arise. Why? Are you interested in how to manage a pancration ring?
Oh, no. Paimon was just wondering if that's how you paid for everyone's welfare meals.
A reasonable guess. I see you have a talent for entrepreneurship.
Oh, you hear that? Paimon has a talent! So we can start a business here?
That is something you can discuss between yourselves later. Let's move on for now.
Continue.
Your Grace. Good morning. I mean, good afternoon. No, wait, what time is it again?
What time indeed? Time waits for no one, so it's best to keep an eye on it.
My apologies, Your Grace.
Jeez, that guy's so nervous he almost forgot to breathe.
Sorry, forgive my manners.
These are the dormitories, which is where inmates sleep. The guards will inform you where your bunk is later. In the Fortress of Meripede, criminals usually spend most of their time in either the production zone or the sleeping areas.
The production zone? What does it produce? Is that where we'll be working?
Not necessarily. Though working in the production zone is the most reliable way to earn credit coupons. If you have other skills, you can skip your shifts to earn them in other ways.
Wow. Wait, you're the manager of this place, and you're just telling us to our faces that it's okay to skip work?
The fact that the Fortress of Meripede has continued operating completely autonomously is proof enough that most people are willing to work honestly and earn a stable income. As for what we produce, many of the clockwork machines seen all over Fontaine originate from our workshop. Therefore, the Fortress of Meripede is not only a place where criminals serve their sentences, but also a giant machine factory. There's no need for me to get into specifics about the production process. Let's move on. The tour continues over this way.
really scared me there. I didn't expect to see you here, Your Grace. I thought maybe I was so tired from work that I was starting to see things.
The only thing you should be seeing is the work in front of you. Stay focused and keep up the pace. Oh? Is something the matter?
It's nothing. Paimon's just worried about how hard we'll have to work tomorrow. Your Grace? What are you doing in the infirmary at a time like this? Oh no, you didn't injure yourself, did you?
Not yet, unfortunately for you. But thank you for your concern, Sijui.
Oh, then you must be here for those two.
Allow me to introduce you. This is the infirmary, and Sijui here is the Fortress of Merapede's head nurse.
Hello, new faces. They call me the head nurse, but I actually handle all the nurse-related work all by myself down here.
Since you seem to have some rare downtime with no patients, perhaps you could find the time to join us for dinner?
Oh, then these two must be some important convicts. Sure, I'll join the welcome party.
Thank you. Your presence will be the pièce de résistance for today's tour.
Oh, so the tour part is over now?
I believe I've already covered the primary aspects of life here in the fortress. As for your work, there'll be someone else to guide you through the details. Is there anything else? I seldom conduct tours, so why don't you just ask if you have any questions?
Well, this is our first time here. I'm not sure what to ask.
Then let's head back to the coupon cafeteria. Maybe a meal will help you think up some questions.
You should at least try to be excited. Our free meals are actually pretty good here. What do you think of the food? Does it meet your expectations? Wow, it looks delicious! Neverlet made it sound like living conditions in the Fortress of Meripede wasn't very good. Who would have guessed that criminals get to eat tasty food like this every day? Oh, isn't that the meal box that only super lucky people manage to draw? Seems like you two are quite fortunate.
It actually has nothing to do with luck in this case. I had a word with Walsey, so you didn't have to draw lots like everyone else.
Oh, you mean the meals are random? Yes, what you get to eat depends completely on your luck. You could say that it's a distasteful little game that Chef Walsey likes to play here in the cafeteria. I knew it! If criminals got to eat tasty food like this every meal, the crime rate in Fontaine would skyrocket for sure! Excuse me, did I hear you mention Nervulette just now? I've been wondering how he's doing. Is he busy with work? Has he been taking care of his health? He seems healthy no matter how you look at him. But he works so hard all the time, so it must be really tiring.
Sounds like he hasn't changed a bit. Looks like you can stop worrying so much, Sijuin.
Oh, that's good. But I still feel like it's been too long since I've heard any news about him.
No news is good news. Maybe next time I've got something to discuss with him, I can invite you to accompany us.
But isn't the Fortress of Meropede independent from Fontaine's court system? What do you two have to discuss?
Well, we provide all kinds of mechanical products for official use, and some essential goods have to be obtained from the overworld, so we naturally have to stay in touch about this and that. Monsieur Neuvillette's character is unimpeachable. No matter the question, you can discuss it openly and freely with him. Talking with him feels quite effortless. In light of that, I am quite willing to go out of my way to show respect and accommodate him. In fact, right now, I'm treating you two as guests invited by Monsieur Neuvillette. But unfortunately, I can only do so until the end of this meal. After this, you two will just be inmates here.
เอาเสื้อไปเก็บด้วยเนี่ยบอกยายด้วยขนมที่กูมาหมดแล้ว ของกูต่อยเลยเกงในด้วยไม่เอาไง
You're very welcome. Well, your new life awaits.
Traveler in Paimon, right? Listen up. As new inmates, the only thing you need to worry about is what to do and when to do it. Don't make any extra trouble for yourself. Your bunks are right over there. Follow me.
So this is where we'll be sleeping from now on. Oh, Paimon can't believe this! The days of staying home and reading detective stories are like a dream now. By the way, Traveler, we saw a lot of things worth investigating just now. Even though the Duke didn't say it too directly, judging from what he said at the end, it seems that he was only welcoming because we know Neuvillette. We are criminals, and Paimon did eat that cake, but we're actually here to help Neuvillette. Is it possible that he knows we're here on a mission? Or is Paimon over... Yeah, Paimon thinks so too. He probably knew why we came here from the very beginning and intentionally wanted to send us a message. Maybe something like, "Hey, I have my eyes on you, so don't try anything funny." Yeah, you're right. It's not like we can go back to Neuvillette empty-handed and say, "The dude looks scary, so we gave up." And besides, the Duke said that he was willing to go out of his way to show respect for Neuvillette, right? So, we at least need to try. But Paimon hasn't gotten a clue where we should start our investigation. You mean... Yeah, that's what Paimon was thinking too. Paimon almost spilled the beans when we ran into him. Fortunately, based on his attitude, it looks like the Duke sees Linny as just another inmate. We worked so hard to help clear Linny and Lynette's names, and yet we turn around and bam! He's in prison anyway! Oh, right! Linny and Lynette are from the House of the Hearth. They work for the Knaves, so they could be here to investigate too! Huh? Oh, it's a card! Paimon didn't notice it earlier. It looks like a magician's prop. Lenny must have left it here. He's in prison and still doing his little tricks, huh? Let Paimon have a look. It was nice to bump into you again. Let's catch up in the production zone tomorrow. What in the world? It's written like he's greeting a buddy on the street. Paimon thought he'd write something important. If you say so, we can ask him what's going on tomorrow. Let's get some rest now.
ทำไมเสียงดนตรีมันเหมือนโคนันวะนึกคิดไปเองเสียงดนตรีเหมือนโคนันเลยเฮีย
Hey, you're finally awake! Well, it's Paimon's first day as a prisoner. Last night, Paimon dreamed about getting interrogated by the guards until Paimon told them everything, and then Paimon woke up. Hey, come on! It's just a dream, okay? Paimon wouldn't really squeal. Maybe.
Hey, lazy bones! What are you still doing here? If you don't want to starve, then get yourselves over to the production zone.
Sorry! We're going right away!
ไม่ใช่ไม่จะขึ้น
You must be the catch of the day. Looks like you've got some luck getting assigned this space.
Yep, we just arrived yesterday and...
Don't interrupt me when I'm speaking.
Yes, sir.
Listen carefully to my instructions. I don't want any mishaps. Every machine here is worth more than the both of you. Working around these machines can be very dangerous. Do your job well, and you can eat in the cafeteria after your shift. Get sloppy, and you dine in the infirmary. Anyway, the Fortress of Merope doesn't want to lose a single one of its machines. And it also doesn't want to waste the production potential of any inmate. You got that?
Got it.
Your job is to use the machine over there to process widgets. Watch carefully, and make sure you step on the pedal at the right time. If the machine gets jammed, then give it a little maintenance with your fist. Here, take this. Bring me the processed widgets, and I'll give you some credit coupons in exchange.
นักโทษท่านหนึ่ง
Once the widget is hot enough to glow, jump to step on the pedal and hit the widget with the... So if the machine gets jammed, you just need to attack it to fix the problem.
Wind strike!
Okay, you got this! Great! Now we can report back to Foreman and give him the processed widgets!
Huh. This one is tolerable. Though, since the processing is done by machine, the product is all pretty much the same anyway. Alright, I'll pass you for now. And we'll count up how many credit coupons you've earned.
Paimon's exhausted. We're done now, right? Oh, that Foreman. He's so scary that Paimon couldn't even speak. Ugh. Even though Paimon's starving and wants to head straight to the coupon cafeteria, we still need to meet Lenny first, right? He probably just finished up his work, too. He should be around here somewhere. Lenny? Mr. Magician? Where are you? Oh, this had better not be some disappearing act. He doesn't seem to be around here. Let's try looking somewhere else. Where could he be?
Hey, over here.
Oh, you scared Paimon! How did you appear out of nowhere like that?
Oh, you scare so easily now? Is there something worrying you these days?
You little... The only thing we're worried about was trying to find you.
Sorry. Come over here and keep it down.
Lynette! You're here too! You two really are inseparable.
That's right. My brother simply can't stand to be away from me.
It's not just Lynette. Fremine is also here. Do you still remember him?
Oh, you mean that diver from the House of the Hearth, right? Paimon remembers seeing him in the court of Fontaine before. Now hurry up and tell us, how did you end up as criminals this time? We fought so hard at court to prove you were innocent, but now it looks like our incredible court battle was for nothing!
Sadly, even the teeniest of things can land you in prison these days.
And then?
Next, I invited several audience members to participate in the—
My brother was charged with theft, and I was charged as his accomplice.
It really isn't that bad. The missing—
Yep, we should be released then.
In terms of the magic trick itself, I think the performance went perfectly.
Leave it to Lenny to magic himself.
Indeed. Last time I hid my identity from you, so I don't plan on keeping anything from you this time either. We were instructed by the father of our house.
Told you so! See? Paimon guessed right.
As for what some even say that the entire fortress exists just to protect it. The House of the Hearth has been investigating this for a very long time, trying to uncover its mysteries. But recently, all of our informants, including the ones that had infiltrated the guards, suddenly vanished and have not been heard from since. We believe that this is a direct provocation. Father has somehow managed to confirm that Focalors does not have Fontaine's gnosis.
Huh? How did she manage to learn information that important?
Father has her ways. Many of them are beyond our imagination, and we've never had the chance to see her at work. But we trust her conclusions.
It was this information that led us to suspect that Fontaine's gnosis might be in the fortress of Meripede and is related to that secret.
So it's all about the gnosis again.
Well, that's about it from our side. How about you two? Did Monsieur Nervulette send you here?
Bingo! The knave has been applying a lot of pressure. She wants to know what happened to Child, so we came here to investigate. Traveler, are we allowed to tell them?
You don't need to worry too much about that. She's just asking for a report on Master Child's predicament as a means of pressuring you. Father used this situation as a pretext to negotiate with two high-ranking officials in the court of Fontaine. She actually just wants to be able to make concessions on this matter for gains elsewhere, almost like a bargaining chip.
Sometimes you need an excuse to do things you otherwise couldn't. And a harbinger is more valuable than you might imagine.
Of course, it's not a complete farce. If we do manage to find out what happened to Master Child too, then diplomatic relations with Fontaine could improve, and Snezhnaya might even be able to adjust its stance a bit.
Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like we're the only ones who actually care about Child's situation? The relationship between the Harbingers must be as bad as ever.
I wouldn't go that far. Father just has different standards than we do when it comes to what can be sacrificed for an advantage. By the way, I have a suggestion. Why don't we team up? Even though we have different objectives, we're both here to investigate the fortress of Meripede. It would be more efficient for us to work together. As you know, the House of the Hearth has many reasons to seek the Gnosis, but our highest priority remains resolving the prophesized crisis. You can trust us on that.
See, I told you.
Is that so? Sure enough, it won't be easy to convince them to cooperate with us.
Lenny seems to be thinking pretty hard about something.
Of course he is. Lenny has been looking forward to a chance to reach an understanding with you ever since last we met. Or, I should say, we were really looking forward to teaming up with you this time.
Lynette, just tell them everything, why don't you?
It's okay to open up a little.
Very prudent of you, and consistent with your behavior since we first met. That's reasonable enough, and I agreed to cooperate on these terms as well. I was prepared for the worst, but you were actually more agreeable than I anticipated. All right then, there's no time to lose. I have some information to share, so listen carefully. Since Lynette and I arrived here, our investigation uncovered the fact that the fortress of Meripede has a forbidden zone. Most people just clammed up and wouldn't talk, but after asking the right questions, we were able to confirm the existence of the forbidden zone from the guards. You should be aware of that while you're investigating.
A forbidden zone? Could that be where the child disappeared to? You're right, we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Good. That's the most suspicious thing about the fortress that we know of so far. We have a few other unanswered questions, and we'll be investigating those as quickly as we can. Anyway, I hope you find our information useful at least. Oh, look at the time. You two must be hungry. You should go to the coupon cafeteria and get something to eat. I'll use my cards to get in touch with you again in the future.
Oh, that's just what Paimon wanted to hear! Paimon's starving after all that work today. We can talk more about the investigation later. Let's go get some grub!